Pretty spectacular late August evening in which to open the college football season here in San Diego. Tonight, the curtain rises on the 2025 San Diego State football season as the Aztecs host Stony Brook at Snapdragon Stadium. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Quis alongside J.R. Tolver, the Aztec Hall of Famer. Well, last season ended on a down note. When you lose 6 in a row, you probably can't wait for opening day to get here. It's been 220 days of prepping for this.
Yeah, 6 in a row losses to end the season, only 3 wins the entire year. You absolutely have been looking forward to this day to get back on the field.
Aztecs have a lot of good pieces to build around here in 2025, especially on the defensive side of the ball, with 11 returning starters, including the Mountain West Conference sack leader from a year ago in Trey White.
Trey White, unbelievable talent. 60 tackles last year, 40 of them solo, 18 tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks. He's one of the best in the country.
Meantime, Stony Brook won 8 games a year ago, and they have an All-American running back in Roland Dempster.
Listen, if you're going to win this football game, you got to be able to run the ball and stop the run. If the Aztecs plan to win this football game, they have to stop Dempster because he's an absolute stud.
Billy Kosh took over the Seawolves team that went 0-10 in 2023, turned them into an 8-win football team a year later. As a result, he was named FCS Coach of the Year at just 32 years old. Sean Lewis starts season number 2. He says he performed an extensive autopsy on last year's 3-9 season. He looks squarely in the mirror. He's going to call the offense for the second straight year, JR, but he just won't signal it like he did last year.
Yeah, and it'll be a little bit different. A lot of this is to see where is Coach Lewis going to stand when he's not signaling in the offense. This is something very new for him.
All right, Stony Brook won the toss. They've elected to defer to the second half. So the Aztecs are going to get a first. Jordan Napier back deep along with the transfer Byron Cardwell. And teeing things up here and ready to get that foot into it is Clayton Taylor. And this one will be fielded in the end zone by Napier. He'll take a knee. It's coming out for a touchback. And an introduction to Jaden Denical now, 6'5" junior transfer from Michigan. He was named the starter on August the 13th. He backed up J.J. McCarthy a few seasons ago at Michigan when the Wolverines won the 2023 national championship. He was 4th on the depth chart last year.
Yeah, and listen, Jaden Denical is a great talent, 6'5" from Northern California. I think he's pretty happy to be home back here in Southern Cal, where his family and friends can actually watch him play on a week-to-week basis.
Gonna see an up-tempo. As you mentioned, he's from Apple Valley, California. Lucky Sutton will be next to him, and Lucky Sutton is going to get the first handoff of the season and will motor up to about the 29-yard line. It's time now for our Snapdragon impact players for the Aztec offense, Jordan Napier and Lucky Sutton.
Yeah, Lucky Sutton, I think, is going to be a big-time player this year for the Aztecs. And Jordan Napier, 40 catches last year, 440 yards as a freshman. He's going to be a big-time playmaker for this offense as well.
Gain of 2, second down and 8. They'll hand it to Sutton. He goes right. A hole opens up, and he's awfully close to the first down marker. A.J. Roberts making the stop along with Desheer Clary.
And this is what you want to see from Lucky Sutton. He's a put his foot in the ground and get vertical type of a guy. He showed it on that play. Great job by that offensive line.
Only 34 rushing yards returning here in 2025 for the Aztecs. Denical to throw on first down, looking just inside the numbers. He's got Napier, and Napier grabs the catch for 6 yards. Demario Crawford with a stop.
Listen, when you roll to the right and you have to throw the ball all the way back to your left, that shows you what type of athlete and what type of arm strength Jaden Denical has. You see him, he drops back, he takes his time, and he really whips that thing out there, and Napier does a great job.
Napier had 43 catches for 440 yards a year ago. Denical is going to run this thing, and he's awfully close to the first down. He gets clipped down by Shamar Askin, probably about a foot shy of the first down.
Oh, no, and Denical's coming off the field. Looks like he may have injured his shoulder a little bit, so that's a big deal for the San Diego State football team. They really do like Bird Emanuel Jr., so it's great that they got those 2 transfers in here, and they really feel really good about them. Yeah, so unfortunately, Denical goes down holding his shoulder.
And Bird Emanuel Jr. played against the Aztecs last year for Central Michigan. Played 13 career games there for the Chippewas. And he's going to hand this one off to Sutton, who busts through the middle for a first down. That's a great conversion on third down. Crawford with another stop. Let's go back and revisit the injury to Jaden Denigal.
So you can see this was a little bit of an RPO. He gets outside and he just lands awkwardly at the end of that play. Unfortunate incident for Jaden.
On the zone read here, Sutton again, and Sutton is going to power his way forward for another first down. Jason Allen the stop. One more look at the injury.
Yeah, this is one of those things. It's just unfortunate. It's not a hard hit or anything. It's just he happens to go down with the ball in his right hand, and he absolutely landed on that side of his body. And sometimes bad things in football happen that way.
Opening drive for the Aztecs has progressed its way to the Stony Brook 35-yard line. Handoff, more Sutton, and Sutton's going to get hit in the backfield and drop for a loss. It's Shamar Askin, a transfer from NAIA Siena Heights a year ago. Let's introduce you properly to Bert Emanuel, who gets a call a little bit earlier than we would think. And Jaden Denigal comes back in. Career at Michigan, 7 games. He was 4 of 5, 50 yards and a touchdown. So that was a quick stay on the sideline to get him patched up and ready to go. And a play fake and incomplete. A pass intended for Donovan Brown, who the Aztecs got late in the summer.
Yeah, Donovan Brown is one of those guys. I was down there on the field earlier, and listen, I'm every bit of 6'2", and Donovan Brown looks like he can eat soup off the top of my head. He is a big football player, and he has outstanding speed.
Kid that played at Syracuse to begin his career and then went to a national junior college a year ago. Behind the sticks on a 3rd down and 11. Denigal has to roll out, well protected behind a line that has 2 starters, and he's going to get about a yard or 2 shy of the first down. I like seeing that he's got some legs on him.
Listen, here's the thing. Jaden Denigal just hit his shoulder, and he comes out and, listen, throws caution at the wind, puts his head down, and drives forward using that big body to get very close to the first down.
And they're going for it on 4th down and 1 here. Yeah, Sean Lewis was telling us on our call earlier this week, in plus territory at 4th and 3 or less, they're going to be aggressive, especially in this game, probably the entire season. A little pistol handoff to Sutton. He goes left and gets across the line to gain at the 25. And it should be another first down here for the Aztecs. Anthony Forelli out of Carlsbad High School with a stop.
And you like to see this. Again, put your foot in the ground, make a decision, and pick up the yards. It doesn't have to be cute. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to get the job done. The Aztecs pick up their first 3rd down of the evening.
Forelli and Sutton met each other in a CIF championship game up at Escondido High School not too long ago in their high school careers here. So they've matched, one at Cathedral, one at Carlsbad. First down and 10 for the Aztecs just outside the red zone. Another zone read, and it goes to Lucky Sutton. A lot of heavy lifting on this opening drive. He'll be 3 yards short of another first down as A.K. Kamara, the transfer from Maine, makes the stop.
Yeah, Coach Lewis had a hat on that said RPO. You may think that stands for
timeout for an injury to a defensive player.
Today it stands for run, power, often. They're going to get a heavy dose of this San Diego State backfield.
And there is an injured player on the field for Stony Brook. Well, it's time now for our Quinto keys to a successful season. You were talking about this, the run power often to a bowl bid. And then you've got a couple of others. Take us through that.
Yeah, listen, if you're going to be a good football team, when I played here at San Diego State, Coach Teddy Tollner used to start every single game, every single week with the same mantra. If we are going to win, we have to be able to run the ball and stop the run. San Diego State is going to run power often all year to be able to get to that position. Secondly, Aztec Fast. Fast stands for focused, accountable, smart, and tough. San Diego State led the nation last year, was one of the leaders in the nations in penalties. They weren't very focused. They are going to focus on cleaning that up. And again, Jaden Denigal, he's new to the game as a starter, but he's played some big-time college football. He's going to have to learn by doing today. And I love what I've seen out of him so far.
Jason Allen was the shooken up secondary player who comes off the field for Stony Brook. New running back. It'll be Byron Cardwell Jr., prepped at not only Saints but Morse High as well. Inside the red zone, opening drive for the Aztecs on opening night. 5 minutes and 15 seconds into this one. Denegal with pressure coming backside, got a man open, and it's caught down at the 2-yard line. It's the tight end, Jackson Ford. Didn't play last year. His first career catch there for the redshirt freshman.
And great action. I mean, this is what I think we were looking for with Sean Lewis's offense. He gives you a little bit of misdirection, and he creates a wide open wide receiver to the 6'6" Jackson Ford. What a great play and a great call. First and goal here for the Aztecs.
You know who sandbagged me today was the tight ends coach, Ryan Lindley. I asked him walking in, I said, "You're going to throw to the tight end at all today?" He said, "Nah, maybe, but probably not, huh?" Here's the pistol. That's Cardwell, who was lined up momentarily behind Denegal. He'll get the carry now after shifting. He's going to get met at the 1-yard line and denied. That's Chase Chalmers, a grad student who had 7.5 tackles for a loss a year ago.
And the red zone, we used to call that the green zone. When you get down here, you got to score points. You got to put the money on the board. The Aztecs have 4 shots from the 1-yard line to get this ball in the end zone.
Second down and goal. Opening drive for the Aztecs has progressed 6.5 minutes here. Opening night, Snapdragon Stadium. There are 3 in the backfield here. Denegal's going to hand it off. Cardwell to the goal line. And they're going to stand him up and drive him back again at the 1-foot line.
What a great job by Stony Brook. They're definitely not backing down. This San Diego State offensive line is 330 across the board. Stony Brook is overmatched, let's be honest. And
by 60 pounds,
great
right?
Job of stepping in there by number 2, A.J. Robert, to make that tackle.
Yeah. Last year, this was an amazing red zone defense for Stony Brook. They were a team 2 years ago that went 0-10, turned it around on defense. They went 8-4 last year. What a dramatic turnaround. Again, 3 in the backfield. Denegal with a handoff. Touchdown, Lucky Sutton.
Just a matter of time before you give the football to your 6'2", 225-pound stud running back behind a huge offensive line, and they made that look easy for their first touchdown of the season.
The opening drive after the touchback, they march all the way down the field, and Lucky Sutton with his 3rd career touchdown. It's his 4th season in the program for the kid that went to Cathedral Catholic. He had 37 total carries coming in for 200 yards and 2 scores over his first 3 seasons. And here's Gabriel Placencia to add the extra point for the Aztecs. And what a terrific opening drive for San Diego State. They take the rock, they march it down. That's a little RPO there. Is it not, JR? 7:39 to go, opening quarter of play. The Aztecs with a 7-0 lead over Stony Brook. The pride of Cathedral Catholic High School, Lucky Sutton, with the opening score of the season on the opening drive for the Aztecs. They march down the field and have a 7-0 lead here on opening night at Snapdragon Stadium. Steve Quis, J.R. Tolver with you. Gabriel Placencia ready to kick this one.
Delay game. Number 2 on the offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
first down and 15 because of the delay of game to begin things. As you look at Sean Lewis here in his second season. Again, he'll call the offense. He won't signal it in. And offensive coordinator is Mac Johnson, and he said, you know, he probably won't know what to do with his hands. It's going to look a little bit like Ricky Bobby, where it's like, what do I do? How do I do it? So, you know, it's a work in progress. Here's Kenny Ray.
After further review, the ball was touched behind the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there was no foul for an illegal man downfield. The result of the play is an incomplete pass. It'll be second down.
All right, so no illegal man downfield, and Tommy Inge, transfer from VMI, is off the hook. They'll move the ball to the 20. It'll be a second down and 15 here for Stony Brook. Seawolves are an FCS team from Long Island, New York. They chartered to San Diego on Tuesday. They'll charter back after this one. Practiced on this field last night. And here's a handoff. And that is Roland Dempster. And Dempster, you see what a tough runner he is. It doesn't matter if it's FBS or FCS. This kid was a Walter Payton Award finalist a year ago and an FCS All-American. That Payton Award, that's the equivalent of the FCS Heisman, JR.
Yeah, and just look at his patience, look at his physicalness. He finishes that run and gets Stony Brook out of the hole.
Yeah, gets him to a 3rd down and 2, which keeps that Aztec 3rd down and 7 group where they got about 4 guys that are just going to pin their ears back and come after you. So 3rd and 2 is manageable here after a 2nd down and 15. Zealous hands it off at a 1st down run for Roland Dempster. FCS preseason All-American Tano Latuli to stop.
And you see that the Aztecs are already being aggressive. They bring a safety down, but they bring him off the wrong side, and Dempster does a great job of putting his foot in the ground and finishing the run on the Aztec side of the defense.
Gonna have to respot this one back to the Stony Brook 38.5-yard line. They'd moved it up to the 39. 1st down and 10. Opening possession for Stony Brook after they won the toss and deferred to the second half. Blitz comes, getting hit, and nearly an interception out there outside the numbers along the boundary. Good pressure on Zealous, who had to get rid of it, and he almost turned it over.
Yeah, you could kind of tell that the Aztecs are bringing pressure, and Stony Brook is trying to misdirect. And I think at that point, San Diego State's Eric Butler flies in and makes a humongous play, disrupting that play call.
Tano Latuli out of his linebacker spot almost had the interception. Big hit on the blitz by Butler. A handoff, and moving left is Dempster. He spins on 2nd down and is up to the 42-yard line. Malachi Finau, St. John Bosco High School, after transferring from Hawaii with the stop. Big number 55 right there. You're going to love his run-stopping ability this year. 3rd down. This is where the Aztecs like to pin it back. It's 3rd and 6. Not quite the 3rd and 7+ personnel on the field. See if they get after Zealous here. And there they come. The throw is incomplete. It was Delshawn Staley that was in coverage. It was Cole Benici, the tight end, who was the target. And Stony Brook's going to have to punt.
Yeah, what a great job by San Diego State. They only have 2 down linemen, but they bring 7 or 8 guys, and they do a great job of confusing coverage and almost making an interception there. Great call by the Aztecs.
Napier back deep to receive this punt at the 14-yard line. Aztec defense gets it done, stopping the Seawolves on the opening drive. Let's see if Napier has a return here. He's going to bounce inside the 20. He'll grab it and do a little shake and bake and get out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Aztecs with a 7-0 lead early on will have the football under the direction of Jaden Denico. JR and I are going clubbing on the sky deck there at the Chart House. We're going to raise the roof tonight. The Aztecs on offense raised the roof on that opening drive, going 11 plays, 75 yards, 9.5 minutes. And that, you know, you tip your cap to them because they're coming back with a returning offense that averages only 82 yards, 2nd fewest in the nation. That's the guys coming back. It wasn't that futile a year ago. But for the guys returning, as we mentioned, just 34 rush yards returning And they hit 52 yards rushing on the opening drive. They're back to the ground game with Lucky Sutton, who had a 1-yard touchdown run. He runs into Franco Milano, the redshirt senior defensive end for Stony Brook. Again, a Stony Brook defensive line that averages 270 to the Aztecs offensive line that averages 330. They have 2 returning starters on the O-line and an offensive line that wasn't very good last year. Gave up 2.5 sacks per game. You got to turn that around. Denegal throws outside the numbers and a sliding grab there. Jacob Bostic, a junior from Texas A&M who had 1 catch last year for the Aggies.
Yeah, and Coach Lanier Sampson, I talked to him a little bit before the game. He's very excited about the speed, athleticism, and size of his wide receiver group. That's Bostic's first catch as an Aztec.
Career started at Iowa. Little play fake, and Denegal surveys the field in front of him. Going to take off running. He got a block out there by Seth Adams, the senior transfer tight end, and gets out of bounds for a 2nd down play. And you see Denegal, part of the 2023 national championship team at Michigan. He's the 4th straight quarterback to start at SDSU, JR, that didn't have a start at their previous institution. So we'll see how it turns out here in 2025. And that play is blown dead. A flag on the far sideline. It's going to be a false start against the Aztecs and that offensive line that we talked about. Let's talk about penalties, too, because they were really key for this team. They looked at it last year.
On the offense, not all 11 players set. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
What they didn't like was the 28 penalties that came outside the whistle. And you know how debilitating those things can be, having played here.
Yeah, there's one thing to have physical errors. You know, that happens in the game of football. But pre-snap penalties are all mental errors, and San Diego State is going to need to clean that up.
Behind the sticks on a 2nd down and 11. Denegal to throw, fires near the boundary, and it's incomplete. Bostic was the target. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 11. When we talked to Sean Lewis this week, he said we strive for 0 penalties. And, you know, in week 0 across the nation, there were so many penalties. And those were those games that started last Saturday. There was only a handful of them, but you could see in week 0 there were a lot of penalties.
And that was the F in focus, right? Like, we're talking about Aztec fast. They have to be able to focus the entire game to avoid those types of mistakes.
Big 3rd down here. Little play fake. Denegal throwing vertically and a catch at the 48 for a 1st down. It's Jacob Bostic again on this drive.
What an outstanding play by Bostic to go up knowing he's going to get hit, but he extends his arm anyway. And listen, Denegal's whip, look at that ball come out of his hand, and Bostic just goes up fearless and makes a great play.
Little play fake throw out right. Donovan Brown now with the catch. Brown is a kid that had 8 touchdown receptions last year from Monroe University in New Rochelle, New York. That's a National Community Athletic Association community college, if you will. Career started at Syracuse. They expect a lot out of him. 2nd down. Sutton bounces off of the pile and turns nothing into something. He turns that into a 6-yard run and a 1st down.
You know, listen, we're going to tell you about this kid, Lucky Sutton, and we're going to say it a lot. We're going to say it often. He just does a phenomenal job getting behind his pads, using his speed and his power to always fall forward. That's what you want to see from a big back like Lucky Sutton.
Under-recruited at Cathedral Catholic, where he won a state championship. He replaces Marquez Cooper as the featured tailback. And here's a handoff, and it's Sutton again. You remember Coop, as they called him. He had 4 1,000-yard seasons at 3 different schools and was a Mountain West Conference all-first team selection. So big shoes for him to fill, along with Cardwell and Christian Washington. 2nd down and 5. Point of emphasis this year, as it is, being real positive for yards on 1st and 2nd down. It has been so far. Denegal and just throws a Garrett Cole fastball right at the head of Lucky Sutton, incomplete. Good luck catching that one, kid.
Man, that's one of the worst things you see coming as a wide receiver, seeing that ball spinning 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's only 5 or 6 yards away from you. So way to avoid a bad play by Denegal and Sutton.
Byron Cardwell now comes in, the senior, 4-star recruit out of high school here in San Diego. He chose Oregon, coming out of Morse High, where he played for a couple years before then leaving to play 2 seasons at Cal. He gets the handoff here, one-on-one, breaks free for a moment, and then dives forward inside the 20 for another Aztec first down.
I don't know if you can feel the energy, but that backfield, you can just tell they're competing every single play. They want to outdo one another. What a great stiff arm by Cardwell, and the opportunity to stay in bounds and continue to pick up yards. That is what you want to see, not only from the Aztecs running backs, but anybody has the ball in their hands. Do the best to make as much of the play as possible.
Yeah, well, they have Stony Brook's defense on their toes right now because the Seawolves are going to spend a timeout. Their first of this opening quarter will take it with them. 7-0 Aztecs opening quarter of play. Aztecs on this drive here. They lead at 7-0. Join us for an exciting weekend of soccer at Snapdragon Stadium. The Aztec women kick off Saturday, August 30th at 7 p.m. as they host UC San Diego. Then come back on Labor Day as the Aztec men's soccer team faces University of San Diego at 5 p.m. The first 500 fans will get a free T-shirt at both games. Tickets start at only $10. The field looks great. Remember, that was an issue last year, and this is the third of 4 games on this field this week. You had San Diego FC playing Saturday, the Waves Sunday, Aztecs Thursday, the game coming up on Saturday, and then on Monday, you have the Aztec men. Cardwell continues in the backfield here. Second drive for the Aztecs. They scored on their opening drive, 11 plays, 75 yards in 9.5 minutes. Denigal turns, hands it off. Cardwell, and Cardwell to the 20 on first down, a gain of 1. He runs into Anthony Forelli, preseason all-conference, 84 tackles last year for Stony Brook out of Carlsbad High School, a kid that when he was a Lancer up there you look at him now, 35-3. And Julian Sayin was his quarterback. So I'm just saying, Sayin had a little bit to do with it. He'll start Ohio State's opener. Denigal well protected, taking a shot for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Targeting Jacob Bostic.
You know, we talked to Coach about this earlier, and when you're talking FCS and FBS, you know, the D1 AA team versus a D1 team, typically the talent disparity is in the trenches. It's the O-line and the D-line, and I think you saw that there. Bostic is a great player for San Diego State's having a great game, but he was really well covered on that play by Stony Brook.
Aztecs looking to convert another third down here on this second drive, and they're going to have to spend a timeout to talk about it. Back to your point, a lot of times in games like this, it's all about depth, right? And what did the Seawolves coach say to us? Sometimes it's better to have a fresh 2 in there than a worn-down number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, both of these teams are tempo teams. So what you're going to see is they're going to try to wear one another down. And again, when you get down into what I call the green zone or the gold zone, it's not the red zone. That's what the defense calls it. These offensive guys, we call it the green zone or the gold zone because that's where you make your money at. The defense tends to get tighter, and Bostic, although he's made some good plays in the field here, he didn't do enough to create separation. And that was actually a really, really good play by number 27, Jason Allen, for Stony Brook.
What are you calling here in a situation like this? 3rd and long, you're right there at the edge of the red zone.
You know, because we know that Coach Lewis wants to be aggressive here. I might run the football off the right side. I got some big guys over there and see if I can pick up half of this. And if I can, then I'll go for it on 4th down.
Denigal's going to pass. Denigal fires outside the numbers. It's caught by Jordan Napier. He's got a first down. He's out of bounds. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Aztecs.
Yeah, and Jordan Napier, I mean, you know, he's the type of guy, you just watch him get the ball in his hands. He's special. There's a flag down here on the field, and it looks as if that play is going to get erased.
An eligible man downfield, number 15 on the offense. It's 5 yards, it's 3rd down.
Wow, they saddle Jackson Ford, the tight end, who has a catch already in this opening quarter. His first penalty. It's back to control the controllables, right? They were striving for 0 penalties, and they've got 2 big ones here on this drive. Got to pay for the exact same real estate again. And they're going to draw him off sides right here. No flag goes up. Now it does. Throw to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Jacob Bostic.
And that's what you got to do when you're that. Oh, and there's another flag on the field. Not exactly sure what the call is here, but it looks like that play is going to stand. Looks like it was a free play for San Diego State, and Bostic, if this stands, is going to get his first career touchdown as an Aztec.
Number 97 on the defense. He was in the neutral zone at the snap.
It is an offsides. It'll be declined, and Bostic will make it 13-0 Aztecs. Here's a kid we talked about, a Texas A&M transfer. Kind of a weird little formation, but they'll shift into traditional here. Placencia gets ready to add his second extra point. Bostic has been on the radar of this staff for a long time, as Placencia is Mr. Automatic. And so Bostic at Kent State, when this whole staff was there, they recruited him. He was under-recruited. Then he had a good senior year. So he goes to Iowa, then on to Texas A&M, and they get him in the portal here this year.
Yeah, very heady play by Jaden Denigal, knowing that he has a free play. Does a great job of getting that ball up and over those dropping backers. And Bostic, all hands, all eyes, makes his first catch, his first touchdown catch as an Aztec.
Got a long way to catch your record, though, right? Everybody was teasing, but, I mean, what you did in the way offenses are going now, I'm not sure that record is ever going to be broken.
But you know what it was? It was also tempo. You know, when Coach Kraft came onto the scene my senior year, he brought tempo. He said, hey, we're not going to huddle. We're going to call the plays from the sideline. We're going to wear the defense out. And that's what we did. Unfortunately, we didn't win a lot of games my senior year, but we definitely scored a lot of points.
Time to kick off. That's Jace Freeman who will drop back. Demario Crawford as well is back there to receive. Bostic had one catch last year at Texas A&M. It came outside of SEC play against McNeese State. And this one is coming out to the 25-yard line as Placencia does his job one more time. And Stony Brook will have it for the second time here in this opening quarter. Less than a minute to go. 53 seconds left for the Seawolves, who made quite a journey. And their head coach, Billy Koss, was saying, we were excited to get out here. We passed over on our charter plane a heck of a lot of other FBS schools where we could have stopped and played, but we came all the way 2,500 miles from Long Island. And they'll go back tonight. They're going to land about 9:30 at West Islip Airport. Islip Airport. Here's Zealous. Has plenty of time. Athletic quarterback throw in, and it's incomplete. Let's see, or was it an interception? No, it falls incomplete. Deshaun McEwen there in his third season at SDSU.
This is an outstanding play by McEwen to get over there and make a great hustle play. Unfortunately, he does not make that interception, but that is what the coaching staff likes to see. Do everything you can to make the play and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, he almost fooled me. He's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. Quick little throw outside the numbers. There's Jace Freeman, his first catch of the game, his first target. This kid averaged 22 yards per catch last season for Stony Brook. That was the 3rd best mark in all of FCS.
Great job by Zealous, too. That was a cat call. Cat is a corner blitz off the edge. Chris Johnson had the short corner, and Zealous picked him up pretty quick and got the ball out of his hands. And that was a hot side adjustment as well by the wide receiver. Great execution.
3rd down and 5. Might we see Trey White get in there for his first sack of the season? He gets blocked. Zealous releases. It gets tipped up, and it's incomplete. Looking for Freeman. Chris Johnson in coverage to knock it away. And with 10 seconds to go in the opening quarter, it's going to be a 3-and-out for Stony Brook.
Yeah, and that's what you expect out of your leaders on your football team. Make plays when plays need to be made. 3rd down is get off the field time when you're on the defensive side of the ball. And one of the things that the Aztecs wants to do is win the time of possession. That's how you do it. Get off the field on 3rd down.
Napier awaiting the punt here. And the Aztecs almost get to it. A low line drive one that Napier fields right at his numbers. He gets away from a couple, but can't get away from all the Stony Brook defenders, including Demario Crawford, who finishes him up. And that will be the final play of the opening quarter. Well, that's a terrific start for San Diego State on opening night here at Snapdragon Stadium. We had some rain earlier in the day. Turned out to be a fantastic kickoff temperature. And the Aztecs, with 2 drives and 2 scores in the opening quarter, spreading around the well. The running touchdown, a passing touchdown as well. The Aztecs lead it by 14 after 1. Steve Quis, J.R. Tolver with you opening night. Snapdragon Stadium, and the Aztecs with a terrific first impression. 163 yards of total offense, 2 scores in that opening quarter. Lucky Sutton with his 3rd career touchdown run.
That's what these Aztecs wanted to do. They wanted to start off fast in the run game, and they did just that.
And then Denegal, his first career touchdown pass, first career touchdown catch for Jacob Bostic. And here we go to start the second quarter of play. A first down and 10. Denegal scrambling under pressure, eludes 1, eludes a 2nd, and can't get away from a 3rd man. And that he just got worn out right there as Franco Milano brings him down for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, listen, a lot of times you just have to know when the play is over. Denegal got outside. He did everything he could to make the play. He should have just thrown that football out of bounds.
Remember, he was named the starter on August the 13th. And he's learning the offense coming from Michigan. Sean Lewis says he's like a new fighter pilot, right? And he's learning his plane. He calls Denegal and Napier Goose and Maverick. And there's a handoff. First look at Christian Washington. We had all the heavy lifting in the run game in the opening quarter between Lucky Sutton and Byron Cardwell. And now Washington, kid from Helix High School, with his first carry of 2025.
Yeah, 15 carries between Cardwell and Sutton, and Washington gets in on the act here for the first time tonight.
Another kid who's at his 3rd school. He was at Coastal Carolina last year. The aforementioned Christian Washington. His career started at New Mexico. Denegal going to take a shot vertical down the field, looking for Donovan Brown, and he overthrew him. That's a good shot on goal. Take a chance here.
You got to do it. I mean, listen, when you're trying to make a statement to the rest of the country that in 2025 you're a much different team than you were in 2024, when you get the opportunity to take those shots, you got to take them. Unfortunately, that was just a little bit overthrown, but I bet you Brown and Denegal, they get their timing together. They figure that out as the year goes on.
Yep, the Aztecs doing that on 4th down, so they're going to turn it over here. They'll punt it away. Hunter Green, a junior who kicked at Northern Colorado last year and was very good. He averaged 45 yards a punt over his 3 years at Northern Colorado. He's got some big shoes to fill. And that one fair caught there by Marquez Dietz. All right, so the Seawolves now, JR, are down 2 scores. You've been on this side before, unfortunately. It was a long time ago, thank goodness. But they're down 14. They've come a long way here, and they're a team that won 8 games a year ago.
Yeah, this is when tempo works against you. The Seawolves have to figure out a way to pick up a first down. If you start going 3 and out and you keep giving this Aztec offense the ball back, you're going to put yourself in an overcomable situation.
3rd drive for Zealous and company. They'll hand it off, and here is Dempster. And again, an FCS preseason All-American. His right tackle who blocks for him is Nico Papik, who's 6'4", 300 pounds, a graduate all-conference preseason and a preseason All-American. So they've got 2 All-Americans on the offensive side in which to try and cut into this 14-0 deficit. 2nd and 6, turn, hand off. Here's Dempster again, gets away from 1 tackle, and it takes about 4 Aztecs to bring him down 1 yard shy of gaining a first down.
Yeah, Dempster's 6 foot, 225. He's powerful. He's got great contact balance. And look at that. It takes 5 Aztecs to bring him down. What a great run by the 6 foot, 225 pound Dempster.
Fighting for the first down here on 3rd and 1, and I don't think he got it. I think he's going to be about 6 inches short. So it's decision time for Billy Koss. Owen Chambliss on the stop. There's the body of work for Roland Dempster last year. Averaged 5 yards a carry, 18 touchdowns. That was the 4th most in the FCS.
This may be a little too aggressive for the Seawolves going forward here in their own territory early in the game.
Oh, come on, you got an All-American to the right of Zealous. Trying to draw the Aztecs off sides. They get a couple of timeouts to spend here. I doubt if they'll snap this in with 3 to go on the play clock. They'll spend a timeout and run the punting unit on.
My spidey senses were correct.
When we come back, the Seawolves will most likely punt it away. Opening moments of quarter number 2. Hey, it looks like they're going to go for a JR here out of the pistol on 4th and short. Surprised by this or no? You're playing with house money right now?
I'm very surprised. I think it's too early in the game to come out on the wrong side of this play. If you're Stony Brook, I'm very surprised by it, but I expect them to turn around and hand the ball to their workhorse and see if he can get 6 inches in a cloud of dust.
Again, he averaged 5 yards a carry last season. 4th down and 1. They're going to shift to a new formation. Got to get across the 30 against the Aztec defense. Handoff Dempster. Dempster got across the 30 for a first down on the second effort. He was met, just probably 3 inches into the backfield, but that line gets him the first down.
Yeah, he puts his foot in the ground, and listen, great contact by Tano Latuli, but Dempster just does a great job of breaking that tackle.
Zealous, and a quick little throw there to Des Williams, who had 30 catches last season for the Seawolves, who are an FCS school on Long Island. They play in the Colonial Athletic Conference, which features Monmouth, Villanova, William and Mary, to name a few. Zealous, plenty of time. High throw, catch made at the 40. R.J. Lamar, his first catch of the night on his first target, and Latuli the stop.
Courageous catch by Lamar, again, knowing you're going to get hit, puts his foot in the ground, drops his weight, and goes up with both hands, exposes those ribs, takes a big hit, and hangs on to the football. Great play.
3rd down and 2 now for Stony Brook. This is manageable as they send the tight end Benici in motion. Handoff Dempster, met at the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss back at their own 39. It's going to bring up 4th and 4. Owen Chambliss, the first man there.
The disparity between talent is in the trenches. The Aztecs just come up and they absolutely take advantage of that up front stack. And Tano Latuli, one of the biggest hitters on that football team, does what he does best, makes a solid tackle and gets the Aztecs off the field.
Cleaned it up, did Tano Latuli from Cathedral Catholic, went to Army at a college, and now it's time to punt. Jordan Napier is back. Clayton Taylor is the punter for this Stony Brook team. Aztecs almost got to the last one. They're trying to pin him toward the sideline. Napier has it, going to get behind a block, bringing it out across field. Cuts back, going out left now, and is going to get dragged down at the 30-yard line. It's Raiden Apaivong, a junior linebacker, makes a great special teams tackle.
Yeah, let me start off by saying incredible directional punt by Stony Brook. Napier does a great job of doing everything he can to make something out of it. We saw him when he gets the ball in his hands last year at Cal. He can make incredible plays. He did everything he could there, but that punt was too good to overcome.
4th drive of the game for San Diego State. They scored on their first 2 in the opening quarter and then punted on their only drive to open up the second quarter. And now they have it back at their own 31-yard line. They were 3-6 last season, ended the year on a 6-game losing streak, and came together 220 days ago officially, start prepping for the 2025 season. Little play fake. Denegal going to fire. He's got a man open, and Mikey Welsh. Welsh has got a first down and more, and he's to the Stony Brook 25. Awarded a scholarship the night of Fan Fest. That is his first career catch in 9+ games.
Mikey Welsh, what an unbelievable moment and an unbelievable memory for him and this Aztecs offense.
They're running. It's Lucky Sutton. Boy, I always said when I was doing those Servite games a couple of years ago, I said, forget about T-Mac as the wide receiver. Teteroa McMillan. Mikey Welsh is the guy for me.
Yeah, that was a great play, and a great play call by San Diego State. Played a little bit of a peekaboo out there with the DBs, and Welsh popped wide open.
Just outside the red zone, ball's on the turf. Aztecs didn't turn it over much last year. Denegal picks it up, and all he can do is tiptoe out of bounds back around the 24-yard line. Here's Welsh again, first career catch.
I love how he puts his foot in the ground. He's looking around. He's going to protect the football at the end. But what a great play call by Sean Lewis in that Aztec offense.
Big gain. You know, the Aztecs had only one play last year. This surprised me, of more than 50 yards all season long, and Jordan Napier had it. And that was a heck of a pickup there to get inside the 25-yard line. Aztecs have it on 3rd down and 9. They were just 36% on 3rd down a season ago, and they are 5 of 6 today, and we've got a timeout.
Timeout.
The Aztecs will spend their second. They'll have one timeout remaining.
30 seconds in length.
It's a 30-second timeout here with 8:41 to go. So far, what has impressed you, JR, whether it's offense or defense? The defense is pitching a shutout. The offense has scored on half their drives.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think anytime you can play, let's call it mistake-free football, and you don't have a turnover or any sight of a turnover, that's a great way to start a half, especially early in the season. You know, one of the things that's very hard about going from practice to the game is nowadays they rarely tackle live in practice anymore. So until you actually go out there and get hit and be hit, have to pick yourself up off the ground, protect the football, sometimes it's very easy to create fumbles or identical to throw interceptions. I think they've done a phenomenal job protecting the football today.
Yeah, you saw that ball on the ground. The Aztecs with just 9 turnovers a year ago. That was the 3rd fewest in all of NCAA football. Play fake, Denigal backside, pressure comes, he throws, and trying to dive to come back to get it is Napier. That was going to be an awfully tough connection there between Goose and Maverick.
Yeah, and they got a little bit of pressure off the right side of that Stony Brook offense, and this kidder number 8 just does a great job of pursuing the quarterback, and Denigal feels the pressure. So good job by him moving the pocket and getting the ball out of his hands.
Here's Gabriel Placencia, 20, make it 12 consecutive field goals. Last year, single season record, 13 of 14 on field goals. This will be from 42 yards out. And the hash mark right on its way. He has been Mr. Automatic, and that is 13 in a row. The Baker's dozen there. He's 18 of 19 in his career, splitting the uprights. Aztecs in command, 8:31 to go before halftime, 17-0 San Diego State.
Want the latest on today's games? Just tell Siri, show me Mountain West football scores.
All right, a rule change from last year now permits the use of sideline technology. As a result, Mountain West Conference teams are excited to be using iPad Pro and iPad Air to review multiple angles of in-game video so coaches and players can make real-time adjustments, allowing athletes to compete at the highest level. Well, the Aztec offense competing at the highest level right now. Placencia 42-yard field goal makes it 17-0 Aztecs with 8:31 to go here in quarter number 2 on opening night from Snapdragon Stadium. Steve Quis, J.R. Tolver, the Aztec Hall of Famer, into the Aztecs Hall of Fame in 2012. Did I get that right?
2012, yes, sir.
2012 all-time leading receiver, which is saying a lot when you got the likes of Darnay Scott and some of these guys at San Diego State.
Azakim, Webster Slaughter.
That's right.
I mean, we've had some really great.
And how many years did you have in the NFL?
4 years.
4 years in the, and one with Dallas, or how many with Dallas?
2 with Dallas.
2 with Dallas.
Two with the Dolphins.
Happy with how the Micah Parsons thing worked out for your Cowboys?
Man, that surprised me.
Me too. They're throwing on first down. Zealous rolls out, kind of lobs it up. It's incomplete. Chris Johnson in coverage.
If I'm the Seawolves, I don't abandon what I know works best. What works best is getting the ball in Dempster's hands.
Yeah.
He can change the game at any point, but you got to give him an opportunity to touch the rock.
Second down and 10 from back of their own 25-yard line. It's an offense that averaged 404 yards last year, 170 on the ground, en route to an 8-4 season. The biggest turnaround in the FCS. Quick throw and a catch, Des Williams. And he's brought down there by Bryce Phillips, who's making his 35th consecutive start, the most of any Aztec on this roster.
Yeah, Bryce Phillips actually declared for the NFL draft last year and decided to come back. His brother plays for the Atlanta Falcons, so he's got great football pedigree. The Aztecs are happy to have Bryce Phillips back on the other side of Chris Johnson.
3rd down and 5. Seawolves are 2 of 5 on 3rd down so far. Zealous with the pressure coming from the outside, and not 1 but 2 flags. He was looking for Shakai Carson out of the backfield. Hold everything. Kenny Ray, as they call him, will tell us about this penalty right here on 3rd down and 5.
Prior to the pass, holding number 0 on the defense. It'll be 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Wow, they got the hold, but on Bryce Phillips, maybe not the hold our viewers at home might have thought they saw, the Aztec fans, on one of the tackles, but that's on Phillips. And again, that's another penalty against the Aztecs that keeps an offensive drive going here for Stony Brook. So they strive for no penalties. There's going to be some laps afterwards, huh? Here's Carson, who ran for just 111 yards all last season. And so they'll give Dempster a bit of a break here in the early going. Dempster already with 6 carries for 35 yards. Tavis Tuioti, who had a sack in the opener last year against Texas A&M Commerce. 2nd down and 9. Zealous is going to take off and run, is going to get grabbed from behind after a gain of only a yard. It's Ryan Henderson, a junior. He's one of those guys that's supposed to be in the pin back your ears package on 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked to Coach Orich about this, and he talked about Trey White and Ryan Henderson, Brady Nassar, August Silfani, Miles King. He said when they get in a situation where they want to bring pressure, watch for all those guys to be on the field.
3rd and 8. Zealous, pressure comes. White hit him. Catch made. And it's not going to be enough for a first down. Grab was made by Jace Freeman. Brought down by Chris Johnson. And on will come the punting unit for the Seawolves.
I really like the way Chris Johnson dissects this. At the end of the day, you can bend, but you can't break. And watch Johnson come out of nowhere and make a bigger tackle on a bigger man to get the Seahawks off the field.
Napier back to return yet another punt. I'm glad you mentioned Rob Ulrich as the new defensive coordinator. He handled the edge rushers last season, and under his tutelage, Trey White led the Mountain West Conference with 12.5 sacks. So now they have a new coach there, and Coach Rob, who was a defensive coordinator at Idaho, gets promoted in this system as Napier is down to the 22-yard line.
I'm really impressed with Napier.
Yeah, me too. So Jaden Denigal, his night, the injury early, about 3 or 4 snaps in. He had to go out for a few plays. He yielded to Bert Emanuel, and then the trainers got him patched up. He's right back in and led him on now 3 scoring drives here in the first half.
And that injury looked bad. I mean, when he came down, I've seen separated shoulders a lot and broken collarbones, and I feared the worst. But he was right back out there. Hats off to Patrick Spiedermeyer and that San Diego State athletic training staff to get him back on the field. And he's looked great. Doesn't look like he has any immobilities as a player at this point.
Lucky Sutton in the backfield for the 6th drive of the first half for the Aztecs. They've scored on 3 of their first 5. Denigal over the middle, wide open. Tight end with a first down catch and up to the 40-yard line. Ryan Wolfer, redshirt freshman from Liberty High School in Peoria, Arizona. So now you have a couple of first-year tight ends, Jackson Ford and Ryan Wolfer, who have a catch. And for the second time in this game, Jason Allen is shaken up on a play for the Seawolves.
And Denigal does a great job with his eyes. He looks outside, he moves the defense with his eyes, and he comes back to a wide open receiver in the middle of the field. Great job by Wolfer and Denigal.
This is punishing here. Watch Allen just get bent right back. His right leg. We wish him the best. Again, the Seawolves will charter home after this one. Won't get back till about 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. They're a team from Long Island. I was talking with their staff beforehand. I got a kick out of this, that a lot of the times when they commute to games, they're so far out on Long Island, they'll use the ferry to go to Connecticut. So when they go to New Hampshire, the whole bus will go on the ferry. They'll ferry across the Long Island Sound and wherever, I don't know if it drops them off in New Haven or Bridgeport or whatever, and then we'll continue the rest of the way. So they've used it quite a bit for all their sports.
Yeah, this is one of those things you don't like to see, especially in an opener. You got guys out here playing hard, doing everything they can to contribute to their team. The injuries are always a part of the game, but you never get used to them, and you never like to see them.
Well, Jason Allen is just a sophomore as you look at Billy Kosh in his second year, the youngest coach to ever win Coach of the Year in FCS. 32 years old, came from Western Michigan, where he's the offensive coordinator. He's been to San Diego one time in his life. His father was the defensive coordinator for those great Illinois teams that used to take on Arizona and Desert Swarm in the early 90s. They came out for the Holiday Bowl, and we said, what do you remember about your trip out here? He said, I went to SeaWorld and I loved it. Couldn't remember much about the game, and he was out for the Holiday Bowl, which, by the way, they announced today is going to be in the stadium but moved to January 2nd. So I guess it's the post-Holiday Bowl.
And he comes from a phenomenal coaching background. Like you said, his dad coached, but he's telling us his dad coached under Lou Holtz and Bill Snyder, some of the greatest coaches out there. And that's what he attributes his success as a young coach, is being around the game with smart people as a kid.
Denegal on first down, 17-0 Aztecs. Just over 5 minutes to go before half. He looked left and then underthrows Jordan Napier. Boy, at this point, they don't look much like Maverick and Goose, do they? Maybe they look like Maverick and Goose when they had that spin out and landed in the ocean in the first Top Gun.
Listen, I think that was a good play. We talked about it earlier. Know when the play is over, throw the ball away. He did it right there. He learned from a previous mistake.
Well, they'll be better. Out of the shotgun, second down and 10, handoff. And that's Lucky Sutton with a spin move. Then he takes a hit shy of the 45-yard line. Burning a lot of calories to get 4 yards. It'll bring up third and long for the Aztecs.
And you watch Lucky Sutton run the football, you can just tell he really wants to be behind his pads. But I think at some point, the San Diego State offensive line may start to wear down Stony Brook, and you see 4-yard gains turn into 44-yard gains.
And only two returners, Christian Jones and Ross Ulagalu. Masay Uli, the center, and he is a big boy. Pressure comes. That offensive line picks it up. Napier the catch for a first down, and he's inside Stony Brook territory at the 48. And Bryson Parker the stop.
Napier's doing a great job spreading the ball around the field. Again, that quick whip release is something that the Aztecs are benefiting from, and Napier picks up another catch in the first game of the season.
Pretty good first impression. He's got plenty of time, goes vertical, and it almost got picked. Man, off the fingertips there.
As I'm watching Jordan Napier run his route, it didn't look like he was expecting for that ball to be thrown. He's coming across the side, and maybe it's also a little bit high. But again, Denegal and Napier, they will continue to create a connection there, but that was an obvious overthrow or an under anticipation by Napier.
That's Joseph Garcia, a senior from there in Jersey City, that nearly had the pick of Denegal, which would have been his first as an Aztec. Denegal 8 of 15, 143 yards, a touchdown, and a rating of 155.4. A little sidearm action, a catch for nearly a first down. That's Jerry McClure, UCLA transfer, who just gets absolutely lit up right there. Cam Johnson delivering the big hit. And these are the fresh number 2s now, putting a licking on the Aztec offense.
Again, I cannot say enough about that quick whip action from Jaden Denegal. He really gets the ball out of there, and McClure catches the ball, turns upfield, and runs into a surprise. But without that quick whip action, arm action from Denegal, that ball may have actually been a pick six. So great job by those two players.
You kids watching at home, you can't tackle any better than that young man just did right there.
And that was form.
Got a whistle and a timeout. San Diego State.
It's their third and final of the half.
That's their third and final timeout of the half. It gives us a chance to tell you that San Diego State Athletics announces the launch of the Student Athlete Recruitment and Retention Fund, aimed at enhancing our program as we transition to the Pac-12 Conference next year. This fund will help us recruit and support top-tier student athletes. Contributions are tax-deductible.
Huge opportunity for the Aztec fans to get involved. NIL has definitely changed the landscape of college football, with San Diego State going to the Pac-12 next year and playing some against some of the bigger programs, moving from the power, the group of 5 to the power 5. Those contributions are going to be very, very key to putting good teams on the field year in and year out.
Aztec Athletic Director J.D. Wicker will join us at half. I'm certain that we'll have a conversation about that, and also talk about the Riverwalk block party today that I went to. Here's Lucky Sutton off the left side. He's awfully close to the first down. He got upended by Demario Crawford, but it's enough for another Aztec first down.
And again, you start grinding and grinding and grinding. What you start seeing is those 3-yard runs that you earned in the second quarter turn into 33-yard runs in the third and fourth quarter. So really impressed with how the Aztecs are continuing to stick to their game plan of running the football often.
It's already their 14th first down of the first half. We still got 3 minutes to go. Handoff to Sutton again. I love the trio of backs here as Sutton goes forward for 3. We still haven't seen a lot of Washington. He came in for the start of the second quarter to give Sutton and Byron Cardwell a bit of a breather.
And you watch the left guard there, Kalen Ellis, working upfield and trying to get that seal block. And from my vantage point, it looked like it had every opportunity to split. But those guys are continuing to work hard up front.
Lucky Sutton has already carried it 12 times for 67 yards and a touchdown. Pulling guard here opens a hole for Sutton. He's got a first down run and a punishing second effort, and he's down at the 18-yard line. This is a heck of a trap block.
We just talked about that, right? Watch the trap block come around, and Lucky does a great job again of getting skinny, getting through the hole, and delivering the blow at the end of the run. Be the hammer, not the nail, and Lucky is an example of that.
That's the way he ran at Cathedral Catholic all those years ago, en route to a state championship for the Dons. We're at the 2-minute timeout here. 17-0 San Diego State. Let's go back in the Wayback Vault. December 4th, 2021. Lucky Sutton runs for 435 yards, 7 touchdowns in the California State Division I AA Regional Championship game against Orange Lutheran. Dons win it 71-62. Then a week later, Folsom held him to a mere 241 yards and a touchdown in the state title game. Cathedral won the state championship that year, and Lucky did score on his first touch of that state championship game against Folsom. What a career at nearby Cathedral Catholic. In what is his 4th season here, he is the featured back. Play fake to him, throw over the middle, and almost another interception. My goodness. They have dropped quite a bit here. That is Joseph Garcia, who's had not 1 but 2 chances at a pick here on this drive.
Yeah, this is a dangerous throw. It looks like the angle of that throw, a little bit of a tight end pop pass there. The angle of that throw was a difficult one, got away from Denigal a little bit, and almost turned into a disaster.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10. Aztecs are out of timeouts, under 2 minutes to go. Play fake. Denigal's going to take off, and Denigal will get a yard at best. And now they got to hurry up right here with a $1:46 and counting before halftime. And this is going to help out because Rodney Falk is the injured Seawolf player, an all-CAA preseason first-teamer who they can ill afford to lose. He had 10 tackles for a loss last season, 4.5 sacks, forced 3 fumbles, and I'm sure he's getting all he can handle from the offensive tackles for San Diego State. And they're 2 big guys, right? And Christian Jones and Joe Bourgeon, both 6'8".
You don't get any bigger than these guys. Joe is 6'8", 338, and they have Christian listed at 6'9", 330 pounds. When you see those guys in person, you know, they're tall, but they look like slim athletes, right? So those are the types of athletes that Aztecs are trying to recruit. Joe was a transfer from Arizona a couple of years ago. San Diego State was able to, Coach Sean Lewis and his staff was able to lure him away from Cal. He was going to commit to Cal, came to San Diego State, really fell in love with the program. Last year, unfortunately, had a bad injury on the first game of the season, so missed the entire season. But the Aztecs are happy to have him back, and he is an NFL prospect. Joe Borgian is definitely an NFL prospect.
And the clock will start on my
We're going to reset the game clock here. It'll start on the whistle. Now, Borgian hurt in that Texas A&M opener, Texas A&M Commerce there, and he left with a season-ending injury. And then Christian Jones, he started the opener on the other side at left guard. They moved him to left tackle in the second half, and he played the rest of the season there with Borgian going down. And Christian Jones wound up taking all 846 snaps a season ago as a left tackle in Division I football. How about that? Clock starts inside of 90 seconds to go. 3rd and long for the Aztecs. Got a 17-0 lead. They would like to punch it in again and not have to rely on another field goal. Denigol fires, and it got batted down, and he bats down his own pass. He almost intercepted his own, or actually caught his own pass, which I've seen before. A.J. Roberts with the deflection. I saw Drew Bledsoe do that one time at Arizona when he was playing for Washington State.
Yeah, again, it's that quick release, trying to get the ball out of there. Defensive line was not fooled, just kind of stood their ground and put their hands up and made a play. Hats off to Stony Brook.
And here's Gabe Placencia, preseason special teams player of the year. He made his 13th consecutive field goal earlier in this quarter. Looking for a 14th to give the Aztecs a 20-0 lead, and it's pure.
What a great opportunity to have a weapon like Gabe Placencia. If you're an offensive coordinator, you know you can be aggressive in how you call the game, knowing that if you get stuck anywhere inside of your 40, you can just take 3 points, right? So Gabe Placencia has been a great weapon for San Diego State as an offensive weapon, and he's also really good at putting the ball through the end zone on kickoffs as well.
It's like Ellie De La Cruz, the Reds, being on first base. He's already in scoring position, right? So you're already in field goal range when you have Placencia, who is now 19 of 20 career. Last year, 13 of 14. That was the single season record at San Diego State. So with 1:09 to go in this first half, the Aztecs have a 3-score advantage as you look at Jace Freeman dropping back. And I'm not sure what adjustments Stony Brook and Billy Kosh are going to be able to make here against San Diego State in the second half. And that one is going to bounce its way out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. That's Hunter Green handling the place kicking duties there. 93. 1:09 to go, and the Seawolves will huddle up as an offensive unit here and try and kickstart it. And a couple of years ago in 2023, they were 0-10, longest turnaround and largest turnaround in FCS last year. They were picked to finish last in their league. They won 8 games. They placed 5th a year after going 0-10, huh?
Yeah, Billy Kosh kind of reminds me of Kenny Dillingham a little bit. He has that type of energy.
Casey Case is in, replacing Chris Zealous, and he misfires. His target was Des Williams. Dale Sean Staley in coverage, and there's the numbers on Case. Didn't appear in a game last year. He started 9 games for Stony Brook back in 2023, and when you talk to some coaches around the conference, he kind of limits the call sheet for Stony Brook in that he's not, two-dimensional like Zealous is, but really at this point, right, might as well change it up a little bit. His career started at Buffalo in the MAC, and they're going to get to him, and down he goes back at the 15-yard line. Aztecs with August Salvati, a junior, a Florida Atlantic transfer with the first sack of the season for San Diego State's defense.
And when we talked to Coach, they said, hey, listen, August Salvati has it. He's potentially our best pass rusher. He has all the moves and all the swag. He's a 6'6" kid out of Clearwater, Florida. First sack of the year for August Salvati.
One of those guys with Ryan Henderson in that pin your ears back 3rd and 7 type of package. And there is Dempster, and Dempster on 3rd and 18 behind the sticks gets brought down, and that will likely be the final play of the first half for Stony Brook. Remember, San Diego State got it first. Stony Brook won the toss, so they'll have it, will the Seawolves, to begin the 3rd quarter of play. And they'll be down 3 scores at 20-0. In a moment, we're going to get a chance to get the thoughts on Sean Lewis here at his first half. And quite the first half, his offense with 270 total yards. They ran for 111, had 15 first downs in that sack, and had it for almost 19 minutes here. And Coach Lewis joins us now. Coach, your thoughts on that first half of play where your offense was really dialed in?
Yeah, good start. I mean, obviously some red zone opportunities there that we need to finish and clean some things up. The defense is playing really well, and, you know, it's a fairly clean game thus far.
Coach, how do you feel about Dinigle's performance so far?
He's doing good. Like, settled in, a couple errant throws here and there that we can tighten up, you know, but he's seeing the game good, making good decisions.
How about your defense real quickly, and then we'll let you go?
Yeah, I mean, playing great, right? Playing aggressive, doing a really good job, keeping the ball inside and in front, and rallying many hats to it. So pleased with their effort.
All right, Sean, we appreciate the time.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Yep.
Sean Lewis got to be happy about 20-0 lead. There were some penalties. Again, they were, striving for no penalties. There'll be some laps the next couple of days at practice. But all in all, everyone's got to be happy about opening night here at Snapdragon Stadium. San Diego State in their 2025 opener trying to break a 6-game losing streak. They lead FCS Stony Brook 20-0. Opening night, Snapdragon Stadium. The Aztecs off to a 20-0 lead against a Stony Brook FCS team that won 8 games a year ago. J.D. Wicker, the athletic director here at San Diego State, is kind enough to join us here at half. And boy, I love this atmosphere. I got here early. I know there was a lot of water on the ground from the rain earlier in the day, which we never have here in August. But that Riverwalk party was cool. There's a DJ to keep the students around. If you would, maybe elaborate on what we're doing this year for football.
Yeah, no, really excited about some of the things we've added. Pre-game down in the River Park with, the Aztec Club has an event there. But then we also have an event that with a live band. We've got a live band. Cool. You've got a game that was on. The Boise State South Florida game was on. We'll have at various points different sponsors. We'll have stuff for kids there. And then we also have a tent that's open for, just fans to stop by and get food and beverage. So good place to tailgate and mix and mingle. And it also backs up to all those folks that are pulled up in that, with their cars tailgating.
Yep. Really cool to see all that. And college football has changed.
It has.
Next year you're going into the Pac-12, and NIL has changed from the collective span to now the schools being able to participate. Talk a little bit about the student athlete retention, recruiting and retention fund for San Diego State.
Yeah, new this year, we can now pay student athletes up to $20.5 million, and we've established a student athlete recruitment retention fund where people can donate to their favorite sport. They can donate to the department, and it's to the Campanile Foundation. So you get the full tax write-off. You get Aztec priority points that help you with football tickets or basketball tickets or whatever you want. So really encourage people to take a look at that. And we've got the QR code on the screen right there, so you can get the information. Again, whether it's football, basketball, water polo, it doesn't matter the sport. You can donate and get all the benefits.
A lot of events going on here at Snapdragon Stadium. We got women's soccer, men's soccer coming on. If you could talk a little bit about that on what looks to be a great field.
Yeah, no, we're excited. I mean, I've got some folks from SDFC in my box tonight, and they've been very pleased with the field, which is a big deal for me. Spent a lot of time on grass over the last couple months, but we've got got cross country tomorrow night in the River Park at 5 o'clock, their first inaugural cross country meet here in Mission Valley. And then we always want to have our soccer teams play in the stadium at least once. It's a huge deal for them. So women's soccer against UCSD on Saturday night at 7, and then the men play USD on Monday night at 7. So, you know, kind of that city rivalry going on in Mission Valley this weekend.
A little revenge game, too, because I think the Tritons won on the sports deck a year ago in women's soccer. To be fun on Saturday night. J.D. Wicker, the athletic director here at San Diego State, remind you what he was just talking about. 8:30 tickets are pretty cheap. 7 p.m. free T-shirts for the first 500. And if you want to watch men's soccer, we'll see you on Labor Day, the 1st at 5 p.m. 20-0 San Diego State with the halftime lead over Stony Brook. Halftime here at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, the season opener, the Aztecs and Stony Brook Seawolves. While we have a moment, let's take a peek at the upcoming episode of The Climb. Beautiful night in San Diego. It was rainy to start the day, and there's a little bit of humidity, but then things cleared up, and opening night going well for San Diego State as they lead Stony Brook by a score of 20-0. Alongside the Aztec Hall of Famer J.R. Tolver, my name is Steve Quis. It's been a pleasure to serve you in this first half so far. We'll see what happens in the second half. But time now to look at our Bud Light highlights here of this first half, and talked about that hat that Coach wore, the RPO hat that was like run, power, often, right, instead of option, and with Lucky Sutton starting the thing, and perfect RPOs tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Aztecs want to run the football. They're trying to establish themselves as a running football team, not only tonight, but for the rest of the season. And I think what we're seeing today is what San Diego State, Sean Lewis, wants to do. He wants to run the ball. He wants to run the ball powerfully and give his offense an opportunity to keep the defense off the field.
111 yards rushing already. Sutton with 89 on 15 carries, and the defense pitching a shutout in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw it early from Tano Latuli getting a bat down there. We've seen some really good pressures from that Aztecs defense, and they've done a great job of making the game hard for Zealous and hard for Stony Brook. And that's what you expect from an Aztec team that's returning that many starters on defense.
Yeah, haven't seen Trey White get to the quarterback yet. The Mountain West Conference leader in sacks a year ago with 12.5. It's only a matter of time. First half stats skewing heavily in favor of San Diego State. 270 yards of total offense, and they possessed the football for almost 20 minutes, an impressive 15 first downs. Opening night, Aztecs with a 20-0 lead at the break. Opening night, Snapdragon Stadium. The Aztecs lead it 20-0. Steve Quis, J.R. Tolver with you. And the Aztecs will kick it off here to start the third quarter of play because Stony Brook deferred to the second half. Here's Jace Freeman with a return. He's got some space in front of him. Out comes a penalty marker. Out comes the second penalty marker as he's wrestled out of bounds just past the 32-yard line, but hold everything. The Aztecs had 3 penalties for 20 yards in the first half, while 1 infraction for 5 yards on the opening drive for the Seawolves. And also had a challenge that wiped out a penalty. Kenny Ray, our referee, wearing the white hat on opening night.
Return there was a little bit impatient. You can tell that return was designed to go up the middle. He bounced it outside to the left, and that always can confuse your blockers, and that's what happened there. The kid that was blocking who got the holding call, he was expecting that returner to push up the middle. He bounced outside, and he got caught with his hands in the cookie jar as a result.
So a holding penalty is going to back them up. So instead of having it out by the 32-yard line, just their second penalty, how about this starting field position? Back at your own 8-yard line for Billy Kosh. Casey Case, not to be confused with American Top 40's Casey Kasem, is going to start the second half. He played the final drive for Stony Brook in the second quarter. They hand it off. Here's Dempster, and Dempster runs right into Tano Latuli. Dempster, 7 carries, 35 yards for an average of 5 yards a carry and a long of 13 in that opening first half. It's a kid that was on the Walter Payton Award finalist, which goes to the FCS Heisman winner if you will. And he's an All-American last year, All-American this year, 1,322 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns a year ago, 4th in the FCS. And he was their second leading receiver as well with 32 catches, Swiss Army knife. And trying to get some separation there was Dez Williams, and out comes a late penalty marker. In coverage was Bryce Phillips there. This might go against the Aztecs. Yeah, I think this is going to go against San Diego State.
See, this call could go either way. You're watching him and Bryce, they're hand fighting all the way down the field. Both of them are competing for the ball. They do call this on Bryce Phillips. But as I'm watching this and I'm seeing the hand fighting going on, it really could have gone either way.
Well, they rule it a catch. The penalty will be declined. They'll take the spot. Watch this. Yeah, that's a heck of a catch there by Williams with 30 grabs last season and a couple of touchdowns.
And that's what Stony Brook has to do. They have to stay on the field, and they picked up a first down there.
First down and 10 at the 28-yard line. A handoff, and getting dumped back there is Dempster again. He runs into Trey White. Bronco Nagurski Trophy watch list for the National Defensive Player of the Year. 18.5 tackles for a loss last year. That was tops in the Mountain West Conference. 12.5 sacks. That was the 5th most in all of FBS.
Yeah, it's Trey's job to set the edge, not let anything get outside of him, and make a play when it comes inside, and that's exactly what he did.
So far they have blocked him. Might get a chance to get at the quarterback here. They're going to pitch it out. Dempster takes it, and Dempster across the 30. And Latuli with another stop. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 5, so a manageable 3rd and 5 for Quis, who's a pass-first quarterback. Talked about him starting 9 games for Stony Brook 2 years ago. Back in the mix here this year. The addition being Zealous from Hampton, who started the game. Quis dumps it off out of the backfield. Catch made by Dempster, and Latuli again stops him for no gain. They'll bring up a 4th down and 5. Man, this guy is everywhere on the field.
Yeah, and this Aztec football team is playing very disciplined football. You know, you got a lot of crossing routes going on there, and that's designed to confuse the defense. But Tano Latuli, no, you cannot confuse me. See ball, get ball, hit ball. Great job by Tano.
That 3rd down stop brought to you by ESET. And on 3rd down now, a futile 1 of 6 is Stony Brook. Punt is away. Napier. He's got it. Napier tries to split 2 defenders and is brought down at the 30-yard line. Napier had 4 punt returns for 26 yards in that first half. That's his 5th one already. And here's Jaden Denegal in the first half. His first career start, 10 of 20, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. But the best thing, he wasn't sacked. Nearly threw a few interceptions, but Stony Brook couldn't close their mitts on it. So it was pretty fortunate. Byron Cardwell Jr. will start in the backfield here on this drive for the Aztecs after forcing the punt. 5th time they forced Stony Brook to punt here in this game. Aztecs going to start at their own 31. Handoff Cardwell, bounce into the outside. He's got the edge. He's got a 1st down. And then punishing, he gets his shoulder right into Sebastian Regis. It's a good run.
Cardwell has one of the better stiff arms that I've seen out of Aztec running backs. Donnell Pumphrey used to be incredibly good at using his stiff arm. Byron Cardwell, Donnell Pumphrey Incorporated, done a great job using that off arm to clear some space.
Good comp. They actually marked him out of bounds a yard shy of the 1st down, and now this play being blown dead right on the snap. 2nd down and 1 at the 40-yard line of San Diego State. Kenny Reagan, the Aztecs striving for 0 penalties.
The ruling on the field was a runner went out of bounds. The previous play is under review of where he actually stepped out of bounds.
Okay, so they thought, much like me, to the Aztec coaches, that he had enough for a 1st down. And we're going to have our first review or challenge administered by San Diego State here. You be the judge. Did he get out of bounds? Let's see.
I don't think he stepped out.
Yeah, I thought he had enough for a 1st down. We watch here.
That right foot there looks like it just missed going out of bounds. I think he actually picked up 4 or 5 more yards.
Yeah, I think they might spot this ball at the 46-yard line, to be honest with you. It's hard for us to tell on that replay.
This is what you want to see from your running backs. You want to see them fight for every single yard. And we've seen this a couple of times out of Cardwell tonight, refusing to give up on the play, refusing to go down. And I think this is going to actually, he's going to get rewarded for his effort here, and they're going to change the spot of this ball.
Aztecs with 111 yards rushing in the first half on 25 carries. Offensively, they ran 45 plays to Stony Brook's 23. Stony Brook had only 49 yards of offense. Let's look at this again. Well, he's past the first down marker, and I don't think he was out of bounds at all. I think he was in bounds, and this ball might be spotted up at the 46-yard line for a first down.
That's a great camera work as well by our camera crew there to catch that. Again, I think the effort there by Cardwell is going to be rewarded. And it's a good thing that the camera crew did that great work, because now the officials will be able to see it.
And he ran with a decision now.
The runner actually stepped out of bounds at the 45-yard line of San Diego State. It'll be first down from that spot.
Yeah, they missed that one by 5 yards, for goodness sakes. I mean, I've had to second-guess myself in the booth a couple of times here today. I mean, it turns out I've been right a couple of times. So it'll be a first down and 10 up at the 45. I thought he got the 46. They said the 45. And Cardwell going nowhere, dropped for a loss in the backfield. Franco Milano got to him. Cardwell, a 4-star recruit out of high school, chose Oregon, where he played for 2 years. He then played 2 seasons at Cal. 18 career games for the Bears. He ran for 568 yards and 4 touchdowns at number 21. And Franco Milano, another starter, goes down. You might recall Jason Allen, their safety starter, went down not once but twice in the first half, and he didn't come back yet from, and has not come back yet from, the second time he went down. Wow, the BY on the back. Oh, that's right. He's got a family member on the team as well, huh? There's Braylon Cardwell on there.
I'm looking through the stats here, and, you know, one of the biggest things that I think Aztec fans were maybe confused and frustrated by last year was Marquez Cooper, the 5'8", 200-pound running back, took the majority of the carries. I think he had 94 or 95% of the carries. We see incredible distribution tonight. Lucky has 15 carries. Byron has 6. Jaden has carried the ball 5 times, and Christian Washington has a carry as well. So this is a little bit of a different running back room from last year, in the sense that it feels like Coach Lewis is really trying to get the hands into all of his playmakers as opposed to just one.
Some play-by-play guy's going to get lucky when a big hole opens up and he takes off. They can say, bye-bye Cardwell. They're stretching out Franco Milano, who's made a lot of plays just going from tackle box to tackle box. So he'll have to go off for at least one play, and hopefully it's nothing serious. They actually get into CCAA play, does Stony Brook, on the 6th of September. They're going to have a home game against Rhode Island. And so
that's a pretty common occurrence there too, Steve. In the beginning of a season, when you're trying to get your body back into football shapes, cramps is one of the first signs that shows up to show you that your body isn't quite ready for the wear and tear. So you see that often, especially early in the season.
Well, it's a humid night. It rained all day in San Diego. Just cleared up a couple of hours before the game. It's only 73 degrees, but it feels like southern Florida. Here's the handoff, and that's Cardwell running into 3 defenders. Finishing him off was Bryson Parker, along with A.J. Roberts. Roberts was a preseason all-conference player, team high 86 tackles last year. He started all 12 games for the Seawolves in their 8-win season. How about that turnaround from 0-10 to 8-4? I think if I took a team from 0-10 to 8-4, I would walk into my 80s office dressed like a collaboration of Lloyd and Harry from Dumb and Dumber. You know, the orange and blue with the tuxedo and the top hat. And I just say, you know what? Gator needs some walking around money. Chalmers with the stop right there. I think they probably took care of him.
You know, one of the things that I loved about our interview with Coach Quis was he started talking about just the grow and the grind. We asked him, how as such a young head coach have you had so much success? And he said, listen, I love ball. And when you're coaching at these lower levels, you absolutely have to love it because you got to wear a lot of hats. You got to do the laundry. You got to take the cones off the field. So he's all about the grow and grind.
Hunter Green punts it into the end zone, a touchback. We'll be back. 20-0, San Diego State. Aztecs with 23 local players on their roster. You got to recruit your backyard, right? Look at some of the guys. This is a fertile area, right? I probably don't need to remind you, but Alex Smith, Reggie Bush, Arian Foster at Mission Bay, Lincoln High, 3 Heisman Trophy winners on there, Salam, Williams, and of course Reggie Bush, who didn't have it for a while and got it back. And so starting field position will be the 20 for Casey Case. And he dumps it off over the middle, and a diving grab will be made for about 4 yards. That's Marquise Dietz, no relation to Jim Dietz, who coached baseball here admirably at San Diego State, and Tony Gwynn on his team. That kid's a University of Albany transfer, and that's incomplete. Boy, they were just a tick away. Cole Benucci and Casey Case were not on the same wavelength right there. That's going to bring up 3rd down, and now this is the type of time. I know you can't substitute a lot with tempo, but, you know, regular season when teams are huddling or not going as fast, you might see the likes of Henderson and Salvati, who has a sack on there, and 4 guys without their hand down coming after you. Case on 3rd and 6, pumps once, catch made, but it'll be short of the 1st down. It's Dietz again. And they're going to be about 3 yards shy, and they'll have to punt one more time for the 2nd time here in the 3rd quarter.
The Aztecs here are being pretty steady. I mean, defensively, they look like they've settled in. They probably got on the board at halftime and really got a great understanding of what Stony Brook is doing and trying to do to them. They've looked really good and really calm and in control in the 2nd half.
All we have had is punts so far. Napier's going to get a chance to return another one. This will be his 6th return here. Tries to bring it outside the numbers between the boundary. He's going to cut back and gets popped out of bounds in plus territory at the 40-yard line. Jordan Napier, what an athlete. 46-inch vertical. Sean Lewis calls him a freak athlete, JR.
Yeah, and Lynn, if you're a freak athlete, put him on the punt return, put him on the kickoff return. Napier does a great job of being patient, letting his blockers make his plays, and then turning and accelerating up the field and protecting the football and giving the Aztec plus side field position on this drive.
Yeah, best starting field position of the night. Here's a kid that was in the portal for about a week, and they were able to hold on to him. That's why you need to look into that retention fund that we talked about with J.D. Wicker.
And that was a scary time for San Diego State. They've developed Napier. He was a redshirt freshman last year, had 40 catches. Did not want to lose him, and very happy he stayed.
Starting field position is the 38 of Stony Brook, Sutton. And what a night Lucky Sutton has had. He had 15 carries for 89 yards in the 1st half. I think the Aztecs are pretty fortunate to have 3 guys with Sutton, Cardwell, and Washington. We've seen a little bit of Washington. Sure, we'll get to see him some in the 4th quarter. Denegal, well protected, fires over the middle, a low throw looking for Jacob Bostic, who had not only his first San Diego State catch, but his first career touchdown in the 1st half from Denegal.
You get a lot of firsts when you got a lot of new guys on your team, Steve, and that's what the Aztecs have. They have an entirely revamped roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
6 targets of Bostic. He had 3 first-half catches. Now catching at a 50% clip. It's 3rd down and 10. Again, the Aztecs last year, 36% on 3rd down a season ago, 70% in the first half. Little stutter step and another punishing run there. And that's Lucky Sutton again.
Steve, they pulled that entire left side of the offensive line to the right, creating some downhill movement. Anytime you pull your offensive lineman, what you're trying to do is you're trying to bend angles and create angles that make it hard for the defensive lineman to penetrate and to get into a good position to make the tackle. And that was a good example there. They pulled that entire left side of the offensive line.
Aztecs going for it on 4th down and 5 now in plus territory. Something Sean Lewis told us on our call earlier this week they would do in plus territory. Denegal, plenty of time, not much of a rush, and it's incomplete, and they'll turn it over on downs. He was targeting Jordan Napier again. And so the Aztecs have punted once here in the 3rd quarter, and they've turned it over on downs.
Hindsight being 20/20 in a situation like that, I'd love to see Denegal use his feet.
Timeout on the field. Stony Brook's going to get it back when we come back. San Diego State with a 20-0 lead here on opening night. Casey Case gets a 4th consecutive drive here in place of Chris Zellis, who started the first 5 drives for Stony Brook. Starting field position will be their own 33-yard line here on a night when they haven't got much going here, just 83 total yards. And that one lobbed up Case, and Case was going for it all, targeting Des Williams, incomplete. That's Bryce Phillips in coverage. They were telling us this week on our call that Bryce Phillips hit 22 miles per hour on his GPS. That's fast, isn't it?
Yeah, to say the least.
What was your
42?
Oh, you got the 42. You're like the Ferrari. You're like the Ferrari that they drove in Dumb and Dumber.
I'm so old.
You may want to keep that IOU. It's worth something. Case lobs it up again. A little man-on-man coverage there. It was targeting Dietz, and in coverage was Dale-Sean Staley, whose career started at Northern Iowa. It's a new defense with some new terminology under a new defensive coordinator, and Rob Ulrich, as we talked about, he's a former defensive coordinator at Idaho. He handled the edge rushers last season. 11 returning starters on defense. A defense that really couldn't stop the run a year ago. My goodness, they're giving up over 200 yards on the ground per game. They think they've got that fixed. Certainly do tonight. Case, backside pressure comes. He gets rid of it off his back foot. A high throw at the first down marker is incomplete. Chris Johnson in the coverage. The target was Shakai Carson. And so that brings up 4th down, another punt. Well, if you love punts, the second half of this one is exactly what you've tuned in for. This is going to be our 4th punt between the two teams. You get a feeling that Napier might break one. Aztecs over the last decade have returned quite a solid number of kicks for scores. Napier, and down he goes back at the 27-yard line. Won't get a chance to return this one, but for a couple of yards. And so the Aztecs run the offense back on the field with 7 minutes to go. It's been a while since they scored, and as a matter of fact, JR, you got to go back to the first quarter for the last time they punched it into the end zone. They've had to rely on the field goal and the kicking of Gabriel Placencia on a couple of drives to end the half.
Yeah, and listen, as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive head coach, you really pride yourself and measure yourself not by how many points you put on the board, but by how many times you get the ball into the end zone.
Sutton starts as the tailback to the left of Denegal. He's 6 yards away from his first career 100-yard game. Waits for the hole to develop and gets upended at the 31-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 4 yards. Joseph Garcia the stop. Against Sutton, 4th season, 37 total carries for 200 career yards coming in and 2 touchdowns over his first 3 seasons. He might eclipse that entire number by the end of the night here. Play faked, and a goal. Pressure comes. Little RPO out to Sutton. Sutton in space. And Sutton dropped at the 33-yard line. A pickup of 2 yards.
Luxury to have when you can toss the football, you know, to your running back out of the backfield.
For an injury
A
to
lot of running backs
defensive player.
don't catch the ball well. But all three of these Aztec running backs have shown that if you give them an opportunity to catch the rock, they'll catch it and make a play.
Jaden Jackson, a defensive lineman, one of those well-rested number 2s, is down. And that's why we have a stoppage in play right here as they attend to that young man. Looks like he might just be cramping. Well, while we have a moment, join us for an exciting weekend of college soccer here at Snapdragon Stadium. Aztec women kick off Saturday, August 30th at 7 p.m. They host UC San Diego, then come back on Labor Day as the Aztec men's soccer team face University of San Diego at 5 p.m. First 500 fans each night will get a free T-shirt at both games. Tickets start at only $10. 5 games on this field over about an 8-day period, and the field really has held up. And I think when we talked to J.D. Wicker at halftime, he said some of the San Diego FC management is in the athletic director's box today, and they have a, you know, with the first-year expansion team that's doing really well. It's really fun to watch inside this building here. They've done a great job keeping up the field and making it completely playable for anybody who gets on here. Converted back to a pitch probably tomorrow for a couple of college soccer games. Awesome facility, opened about 4 years ago. I know you were here for the opener against Arizona, and
A little spicy.
oh man, even
spicy.
the Arizona fans were dropping. Like Steve Kerr was sitting to the left of me, and he nearly passed out and required medical attention. Just over 6 minutes to go. 3rd down and 4 for San Diego State, and a handoff, and that's not going to fool anybody. No gain. That's Sebastian Regis from his defensive end spot, stopping Lucky Sutton. And so a 4th down here. The Aztecs are going to punt it away because they're, you know, not on the positive side of the field. But another Aztec punt in the second half. There has to be some folks at home rolling their eyes as if to say, here we go again in 2025. This is Hunter Green. Big shoes to fill. Northern Colorado punter last year. Gets into this one. Man, that is a booming NFL-type punt. Headed to Dietz over his head. It's going to bounce. Can they keep it out of the end zone? No. And that's going to be a touchback. Breaking the action when we come back. Stony Brook will have it. 5:22 to go in quarter number 3. Some preseason headlines in the Mountain West Conference. 4 new head coaches. Bronco Mendenhall moving from New Mexico to Utah State. And then college football semifinal opponents are on the schedule for Nevada, San Jose State, Boise State, who lost tonight, picked to win it all. The favorites lost 34-7 at South Florida. Here, the 3rd quarter. Remember the run, power, often hat? Well, that's now been changed to run, punt, often. We've had 6 punts in the 3rd quarter. My goodness, still 5:22 to go. Here's a handoff, and it's Dempster running right into Tano Latuli. Both offenses have stalled so far. The Aztecs with 2 scores on their first 2 drives in the opening quarter, and then 2 field goals near the end of the 2nd quarter, and a whole lot of nothing in the 3rd quarter. I'm getting nervous. We're going to have to talk with Sean Lewis here heading into the 4th quarter. I'm not sure what to ask. Case being harassed, just dumps it off on an apparent screen, incomplete, targeting Dempster. It was Chris Johnson applying the pressure from his cornerback spot. Guy that's really improved his speed. I say he can be as good as he wants to be. Number 1, Chris Johnson, the senior corner. And 3rd and long. Here we go. They have the likes of Henderson out there. And August Salvati on the edge. He has the only sack of the game. 3 guys will put their hand down. And they're going to come after Case here. He better get rid of it quickly. 3rd and 9. Pressure comes. Salvati gets there. Oh, what a great job. He got there. August Salvati. 1 of 2 to get there for San Diego State. The other being Jared Bodie. Yeah, they pin their ears back, huh?
Salvati's doing a great job. I mean, that's his second sack, and I specifically watched him on that play because they talk about he has every tool in the toolbox as it pertains to rushing the passer. He just did a quick little dip there with his shoulder, bent the corner, and made the play.
Bodie's a transfer from Illinois. They'll both get a half sack. Napier on the punt return to the 46-yard line. That was our 7th punt already of this third quarter. And so Stony Brook with another opportunity that goes by the board as they punt it away.
It makes you wonder if the Aztecs are starting to think about Washington State, if they're starting to think about not putting too much on film that can be reviewed and planned against next week. Because as you mentioned, these offenses have stalled, but it doesn't look as if, you know, they're being aggressive like they were in the first half.
I feel like somebody's going to break one here. That might be Sutton. Play fake. Denegal going vertical here for Donovan Brown, and he's got it inside the 10. Another big play for the Aztecs. It'll be their second. Welsh had the other, and they are set up right now.
So everything that I said 30 seconds ago, forget about it. Coach Lewis gets aggressive. Denegal's big arm puts a perfect pass out there for the speedy Brown, and the Aztecs make their first big play in the passing game here in 2025.
Technically a junior college transfer from Monroe University. They've been singing his praises. They've got it on a first down and goal. Here's Sutton, a little stutter step as he runs between the tackles. And he's down to the 7-yard line, and that gets him over 100 yards in this game. Lucky Sutton with his first career 100-yard game. And in this game, almost as many rush yards as he had over the first 3 years of his career. He had 200 career rushing yards coming in. See if he can finish the job right here. Just over 3 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Handoff. Sutton goes right, and Sutton to the 5-yard line and no further. A.J. Roberts, another stop. A grad student here for Stony Brook team that has 13 graduate players on their current roster. Aztec roster lists none, although the Aztecs have 26 players in their final year of eligibility here on the Mesa. 2.5 to go. 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. Aztecs have not scored a touchdown since the opening quarter. Denegal to Jacob Bostic. Sutton to the right of the Michigan transfer, Jaden Denegal. Play fake, little RPO action, caught in space. Napier, and he's down to the 1-yard line. Joseph Garcia with a stop. Going to bring up 4th and goal now from, they'll give him the 2 here.
Nifty little play call there by Coach Lewis, and that Aztec offense just didn't quite create the misdirection on the defense that gave Jordan Napier the amount of space he would have needed to get into the end zone.
Stony Brook's going to spend a timeout here, their first of the second half, on what will be a 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. You're down 20-0. Your offense is stalled. Maybe this is, you know, the play of the game to rally the troops. Doubtful you're going to come back and win here, but at least maybe propels you, gives you a little momentum going into your CAA conference opener September the 6th at home against Rhode Island. Let's revisit our Quinto keys to the game that we showed you back in the opening quarter. It was the RPO, the Aztec fast, right, and Jaden Denegal.
Yeah, we've got 35 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown by 5 different ball carriers for San Diego State. So that RPO is absolutely working. We haven't seen very many penalties from San Diego State tonight, a couple, but what they really wanted to focus on was those pre-snap penalties, and they seem to have cleaned that up really well. And Denegal's doing a great job.
4th and goal from the 2, handoff Lucky Sutton. He comes back, and Lucky Sutton is in for the touchdown. RPO, baby, right there. Let's get back out. the hats that we put away in the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, that's what you get from Lucky Sutton, and really from the backfield in general. They got that three-back set in, and Lucky just puts his foot in the ground, meets a guy in the hole, and just continues to fight until he finishes in the end zone.
Now that's run power often, putting away run punt often. Now they switch out. Going to go for two right here. It's grabbed and a little pass in for a successful two-point conversion. How about that? Brady Anderson with the catch. There is a flag. Going to be thrown by DJ Herman, a linebacker. So that's a linebacker throwing to another linebacker. How about that? We did ask Sean Lewis about if they had any trick plays up this team. He said he might see something.
Yeah, you see Coach Lewis being very demonstrative on that play, pointing to his head, telling his team, be smart. Be smart. It's not enough to just get the ball in the end zone. This thing for Coach Lewis is about culture. It's about discipline. And he's very, very, very upset with his football team by not being smart with how they handled it.
Let's take a look at the Dos Equis successful two-point conversion here. Linebacker to linebacker. I didn't have on my bingo sheet DJ Herman throwing it in to Brady Anderson. And then Brady Anderson spikes it for the personal foul. Come on, I mean, you're a linebacker. You don't get a chance to do that. You take the 15-yard penalty, right? I'm with that kid.
I don't think he even thought about it. I think it was just a natural reaction.
Hey, they always say, like, you've been there before, right?
He's done that in his dreams a lot.
I guess so. I would say, hey, that's well worth the lap or two that he's going to have to run either tomorrow or on Saturday. And he goes out and plays some special teams. That's going to back him up 15-yard line, or 15 yards to the 20. Sutton with his second touchdown run, the successful two-point conversion. It's 28-0. This is a chance at a return here from the 15-yard line. Jace Freeman. Freeman is a guy you don't want to get into space. Let us remind you, last year, 22 yards per catch last season was the third best mark in the FCS. Let's see if Quis comes back out or if they give Zealous another opportunity. A whole lot of nothing for Stony Brook. They came a long way. 79 total yards to 350 for the Aztecs. And right on cue, huh? Chris Zealous gets a chance to come back in. Kid the Aztecs have been prepping for the last couple of weeks. Seems to fit what they want to do a little bit better than Case. Here's Zealous with the run and Staley with the stop. And Staley's become a better run defender, his defensive coordinator says. Got a player injured. Staley had 61 tackles last year, third most on the team. And this is Charles Allen, the left tackle, 6'5", 310 pounds, a redshirt sophomore. And this does not look good if you're squeamish. Look away. As a matter of fact, I'm going to. Yeah. I hate those late plays after whistles. A lot of the Stony Brook guys have gone down on defense here. And again, they'll have a couple of extra days to prepare for their conference opener against Rhode Island. They got a long flight back tonight. They'll charter back. And they are looking at his right knee. A lot of casualties in this one for the Seawolves, but this defense has been great. They're pitching a shutout so far. You look at the national rankings. This goes all the way back to 2015, and you see we haven't seen an interception tonight. Total defense has been top 10. Opponents' points per game, and then forced fumbles. 236. Boy, that sounds like a lot for a 10-year period.
Yeah, this football team has been a very, very good ball hawking football team, creating turnovers. Also been very good at special teams, which a lot of times people consider that a defensive part of the game, scoring points and creating turnovers there as well. So it's really good to see this Aztec football team starting to kind of revisit the glory days of old. They're running the ball well, and they're playing great defense tonight.
2nd down and 7 as they replace Charles Allen as the left tackle blind side. So, you know, he was the guy that was having to deal with Trey White all night. He comes off, and now his backup is in. So, see if White can get to the quarterback now. Zealous quickly tucks it into the body of his running back, Shakai Carson. Mr. Williams, a transfer from Incarnate Word. He was at Colorado prior. He's got to stop, and out comes a penalty marker. 3rd down should be upcoming, but let's see. Kenny Ray will sort out the penalties here, and you tend to see a lot of them at the beginning of the season.
The Aztecs and the Seawolves, they have to be careful here. It's one of those situations where if you get an unnecessary roughness or something like that, and you get 2 of those, you get ejected from the game.
Number 24
you don't have the opportunity
defense.
to play in the next game. So this is the first game for both of these teams.
Automatic first down.
Very important for both teams, but it's not going to decide either one of their seasons. You don't want to see frustration set in and somebody does something that prevents them from playing in the next game, which is much more important for both of these teams than this one.
That was against Josiah Cox. That's going to cost him 15 yards. Second time they've had that penalty here in the 3rd quarter. An unsportsmanlike conduct. Zealous is going to hit the backside of his tight end, Cole Bonici, who last year had 14 catches. He didn't expect that thing coming, and that hit him right on the derriere.
Yeah, from what I could tell, that was a little bit of a setup of a screen play. If you look at the receiver out to the right, the tight end is already sitting down, ready to block, expecting that ball was going to be thrown behind him to his receiver. Miscommunication.
The worst feeling in the world. In high school football, an extra point kicked into my derriere, and that was bad. I can only imagine now being on national television. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. Zealous. A lot of men in the box there. He's going to keep it and run against it and dive downhill to the 39-yard line.
Aztecs bring pressure again off that right side of the Stony Brook offensive line there, and they're being disruptive. I think Stony Brook, hardest part about playing the first game of the season is you don't have film to review.
Yep.
And I think they're getting caught off guard a little bit about where some of this pressure is coming from San Diego State.
Brady Anderson made the stop there after collecting the 2-point conversion. 19 seconds to go. Difference between the play clock and the game clock is 7 seconds. So Stony Brook's going to have to snap this ball on 3rd down here. 4-man rush. White gets through, doesn't quite get to the quarterback, and nearly a diving interception by Chris Johnson. Wow, the senior cornerback is outstanding. They were targeting Dietz. That'll stop the clock with 3 seconds to go. You see why Chris Johnson is on the Senior Bowl watch list with teammate Trey White. And it was White with the pressure. Zealous had to get rid of it and almost led to a Chris Johnson interception and a takeaway. It'd be the first takeaway of the night for either side. It's been a clean game. We'd expect that. The Aztecs had only 9 turnovers a year ago. 4th down now, final play of quarter number 3. Zealous with the 4-man rush, slides the pocket, fires it out of bounds, and they're going to turn over on downs here with the Seawolves, and that will end the 3rd quarter of play. When we come back, the Aztecs will have it a 4-score lead, 28-0 as we head to the 4th quarter tonight.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
Dragon Stadium. Well, a moment ago, the lights went out at Snapdragon Stadium because we're going into the danger zone here in the 4th quarter. A new tradition. We enter the danger zone in the final 4th quarter. A salute to all the Navy aviators out there. And Top Gun 1 and 2. Christian Washington to begin this 4th quarter drive as the tailback. He's going to get the handoff. He moves left and gets grabbed from behind at a gain of a yard. And nothing further through 3 quarters. With the Aztecs with 350 total yards. Bert Emanuel now is the quarterback. So Jaden Denigal's night appears over. 13 of 25, JR. 208 yards, 1 touchdown. His longest was a completion of 44 yards. He had 2 big completions, and one of them was to Mikey Welsh early on.
False start. Number 15 on the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
That's Jackson Ford. That's another penalty outside the whistles. And we had a chance to talk to Sean Lewis between the third and the fourth quarters. Just too sloppy. I know they did score a touchdown at the end of the third quarter, but his team's going to hear about it. Here's Emmanuel. And the handoff, and it goes to Washington. Washington bounces to the outside. Washington with the best run of the night for an Aztec running back, the junior from Helix High School, his 3rd college, and a big first down there to start the fourth quarter.
Washington breaks outside and uses that speed and that elusiveness, that quickness, to get to the outside and pick up a big first down for San Diego State.
Aztecs closing in on 200 yards. Here's the reverse they told us we could see. Emmanuel throws it out to Nathan Acevedo from Lincoln High School, a transfer from Fresno State. I can't believe they put it on tape in this fourth quarter, but they did. We were warned that might happen.
And this is good. This is Coach Lewis still being aggressive. Obviously, you want to win the football game and get some things on film that you can study tomorrow in the film room. So great job by San Diego State.
Maybe a little momentum going into the game on the 6th against Washington State. Christian Washington gets stopped. A gain of 1 yard. It's the opening drive of the fourth quarter for the Aztecs, who had a 20-0 lead at half. Scored a touchdown in the third quarter. They lead by 4. They were favored by 19.5 coming in. Emmanuel is going to take off. Emmanuel in space right there. Not only a Cinemax classic, but a sight for sore eyes here at San Diego State. Little mobility from the quarterback position.
And this is what we knew he could do. He puts his foot in the ground. He's patient, but he's sudden, and he does a great job of protecting the football and picking up as much as he can.
Brings up another first down and goal for the Aztecs, trying to put together back-to-back scoring drives after a pretty futile third quarter. Washington to the left of Bert Emanuel Jr. And he's going to keep it himself, cut back, and he's down to the 6-yard line. A big smile from Emmanuel last year at Central Michigan. Last 3 seasons there, he played in 13 games, had a little cup of coffee, if you will, in that win that Central Michigan had against San Diego State last year in the non-conference.
Comes from a great bloodline. Father played in the NFL for over 10 years out of Houston, Texas. Happy to have him on the Mesa.
Second and goal, 3 minutes into this fourth quarter. Here's Washington between the tackles, and Washington down to the 1-yard line. Christian Washington, career started at New Mexico, progressed to Coastal Carolina, and now finishing up at San Diego State. Emmanuel, quick tempo again. He'll hand to Washington, fighting for the goal line. No signal yet. Did he get across? No, they'll mark him down just at about the 1-foot line, and that'll bring up a 4th and goal from the 1. Remember, they punched it in. 4th and goal from the 2. Lucky Sutton in the third quarter. They'll try and do it again here with a different tailback.
Delayed pull there by Emmanuel. Looks like he wanted to hang on to it, but decided to give it to Christian, and Christian came up just short.
And a timeout on the field. This is the situation where Stony Brook spent a timeout
It's their second
earlier in the third quarter. They couldn't keep the Aztecs out of the end zone. And they'll try here, try and change their luck. That was very, very close to getting in.
Pretty stout goal line stands there by Stony Brook. Fighting to the very end. And that's what you get from Long Island, New York type kids. You know, they pride themselves on being tough and being gritty. And Coach talked about that when we spoke to him on the phone earlier this week. They're a program, they're a prideful program. They think they can come out and play and compete with anyone. And that usually shows up in situations like that. Hey, we're on the 1 yard line. Are we going to show up and make a stop, or are we just going to let them walk in? They did a great job of stepping up and stopping the Aztecs.
Yeah, they can stop them here. Billy Quis said it's a culture thing with good people to go from 0-10 to 8-4. Aztecs with 2 rushing touchdowns tonight. Can they get a third? And it's Christian Washington in for the 3rd rushing touchdown of the night for San Diego State, and they lead it 34-0.
There's only so much you can do when you're giving up on average 60 pounds across that front line. And again, these Aztecs, they're big, they're physical, and I think that they're just wearing down that front end of the Stony Brook defensive line.
Sean Lewis said, you know, we got something special brewing in this building. He was excited to turn his team loose on both sides of the ball, and I'm sure there's a few warts, right, in that 3rd quarter, and I think you'd like to have more touchdowns, a couple more touchdowns than the field goals, as Placencia adds another extra point. But all in all, 35-0 still with 11:06 to go. Sure, there's some things to clean up before you go to Washington State on the 6th. Washington, the latest back to get in for the Aztecs. They lead it 35-0. With 11:06 to go on opening night, the Aztecs have a 35-0 lead, but their head coach, Sean Lewis, is making them finish this thing. He just gave his team, he called them all together at the 50-yard line and gave them an earful, JR.
And that's what you want to see out of your head coach. Listen, this game is about, and he said it, this isn't about the scoreboard. We are competing against us being the best us we can be. And I love the fact that he's holding them, number one, setting that standard, number two, holding his football team to that standard regardless of what the score is.
This is going to sail out of the back of the end zone, coming out for a touchback. Well, he's not going to be happy with the 6 penalties for 55 yards. We talked about controlling the controllables, and that's one of them. But he also did forewarn us. It happens a lot. It happened a lot across the country in week 0. It's bound to happen here, although it seemed like they practiced. Didn't he tell us they practiced for a long time without having a penalty?
Yeah, he said about 8 days in a row during that 20-day training camp. They went 8 days in a row without having any penalties, and that was something that they were very focused on and therefore excited about.
Drive starts at the 25-yard line. Zealous at quarterback. Dempster to his left, and Dempster is going to get hit at the line of scrimmage. Then you see his ability to turn nothing into something. That turns into a 4-yard gain for the Stony Brook graduate. We talked about in our open just how good a player he is coming in, and the Aztecs have bottled him up now. 11 carries, 45 yards. Still averaging 4 yards a carry. But he was a 1,300-yard rusher a season ago with 18 touchdowns, which was the 4th most in the FCS for a team that scored almost 30 points per game last year. They come in ranked 25th in FCS, their first ranking since 2017. So they're not a secret anymore on Long Island. And that's E.K. Ika Ragsdale with his first carry of the game, a North Texas transfer that had over 1,000 career yards in North Texas over 5 seasons. Well, they stay a long time nowadays, don't they? Must be those athletic funds.
So they said this is the last year. Remember the COVID year where they got rid of eligibility and none of the year counted, but this is the last year of the COVID year.
The Aztecs, we haven't talked about this guy yet, Seth Adams. I think we mentioned him at the beginning. He's a tight end, but his first career start came in 2020 during the COVID era at Cumberland as an offensive lineman. Here he is 5 years later as a tight end as that pass is incomplete for the Aztecs. That was intended for R.J. Lamar. Out comes the punting unit. This unit's got a lot of work. They have burned a ton of calories as this punting unit here for Stony Brook. They have changed up the return man, have the Aztecs, so Napier is going to get the rest of the night off. And it'll be Mikey Welsh
Ruling
who
on
had
the
one
field
big
was an
catch.
incomplete pass. Previous play is under further review.
Well, now they're going to have a review here. The last play under review, that was an incomplete pass, and so we'll have what will be our third review of this game. We had the replay officials come up and introduce ourselves, and the first thing I said is, I hope we don't have to talk to you at all tonight. They said the same. So was this a catch? It was ruled incomplete. Well, was there enough to overturn that as incomplete? R.J. Lamar might have hung on to that thing. R.J. Lamar has one catch for 4 yards in this game. Between the two Stony Brook passers, 9 of 26 for 46 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. It was Bryce Phillips in coverage. They might overturn this thing here, Jay. Although, well, you know what? It came out right there, huh?
It did come out at the end, but I couldn't tell if the catch had already been secured, and that was a kind of a delayed reaction of the contact.
Hands are under it. Little juggle. Phillips
secured there. It's secured there.
After further review,
Then
the
it
ruling on
comes
the
out.
field is upheld. It's an incomplete pass. 4th down.
All right, so it's confirmed incompleted pass, and they will have to punt on 4th and short here. Just 94 total yards for Stony Brook here.
If Bryce Phillips doesn't finish that play, that's a catch.
Oh, I agree.
Great effort.
Yeah.
Great effort by the cornerback there.
Felt like 107 punts tonight for Stony Brook. This is a good one, though. And Mikey Welsh has it. The night of Fan Fest on this building. He received his scholarship. Let's check out the upcoming schedule with this one nearly fait accompli for Stony Brook. At Washington State, that'll be on the CW on the 6th, and then Cal back here on the 20th at Snapdragon Stadium at Northern Illinois, and then Colorado State in October to open up the final season of Mountain West Conference play for the Aztecs. Emmanuel turns, hands it off, and we've got a 4th running back now in, and that's Sincere Rainey, a kid from Sarah High School in Gardena, who played on a really good team that had Malik Murphy as the quarterback who went on to Texas. Don't ask me where he is now. And Roderick Pleasant, who was one of the fastest high school running backs and track stars that had committed to Oregon. But I lose track. With the portal, I lose track now. And all the high school broadcasts I do, I almost stop short of saying where they're committed with the way things are going in college football. 2nd down and 7. And here's Rainey again, and Rainey, there's a penalty marker as he runs right to the sticks, close to a 1st down. So the Aztecs have used 4 running backs so far to run for almost 200 yards. And you work in the quarterbacks as well. 6 different Aztecs have carried the rock
Holding.
here.
Number 53 on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Adamasi Kasim getting some work in a hold. And spun him around right there. Spun around Maurice Seals. A lot of 2s and 3s now getting an opportunity here. Maybe the only time this season for the Aztecs, trying to make the most of it. Emmanuel, low snap, hand off. Rainey, no, he's going to keep it and then just fire it up close to us. JR, you almost had your 213th career catch as an Aztec. We better rewrite the record book.
Yeah, he threw that from his knees. I don't know if he was already down or not, but
Smile. Let's see, pulls it off the turf. Fakes the dive and then says, I'm not going down without a fight.
Heads up plate.
Manuel will let a lot of time come off the clocks. Although the game clock is not running, it was the incomplete pass. Play clock got down to 3. He's got a man over the middle. He just dumps it off right here. Nathan Acevedo. And Acevedo. And he's still powering his way near the sticks. Boy, they were at a 3rd and 17. They're going to be looking at a 4th down and 3 at about the 37-yard line. It's a good pickup from Fresno State. Last year he had 9 catches. A kid that played at Lincoln High School, and Roderick Robinson was a junior. Again, building a fence. Maybe he got away initially, but found his way back on a bounce back. Steve Fisher was so good at doing that in basketball. Start the program 25, 26 years ago now.
And Coach Lewis said it. You know, he said, hey, we're going to recruit San Diego County hard, and if we get them the first time, great. And if we don't, we'll catch them on the rebound. And Acevedo was a good example of that.
Hey, they got one of the top athletes here tonight in Gage Weddle, two-way player from Rancho Bernardo in the house. Fair catch. When we come back, 7:29 to go. Aztecs leading big. Solid night for San Diego State. Opening night here, America's finest city. It's been a pretty fine game so far for San Diego State. Shakai Carson will be the tailback here. Zealous will continue. 7:23 to go. The Aztecs pitching is shut out and now have a lot of backups in. Kind of surprised tonight we didn't hear much out of Trey White. Didn't get to the quarterback, and he had only 1 sack in his final 5 games as they hand it off to Carson. Carson moves forward to pick up a couple of yards. It'll be a 2nd down and 8. Stony Brook's home opener September 6th against Rhode Island, and at that same time the Aztecs will be on the road at Washington State against a future Pac-12 opponent that'll be on the schedule more times than not in the future. 2nd down and 8. They fake the pitch. Zealous keeps, and he's going to get dropped right around the line of scrimmage. Aztecs get some red helmets on him. Henderson again. Ryan Henderson in there. Got a lot of depth. The one thing I've noticed, a lot of depth on the defensive line, which is a pretty key area to have it at any level of football, right, JR?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about the depth on this football team, San Diego State has a lot of depth at that running back position and that defensive line position. Linebackers are pretty deep as well. So that bodes well for the future. You kind of miss that opportunity nowadays where kids are jumping in and out of the transfer portal to develop talent and to develop depth. But it's good to see San Diego State have it.
Zealous got chased backside, had to get rid of it. Owen Chambliss got there. They actually talk about him having the best NFL upside of the linebackers, according to his defensive coordinator. Look at him just fighting off blocks to get there. A kid from Corona Centennial. He's a sophomore. His career started at Utah, where he played in 5 games in 2023 for the Utes. 7 games last year at San Diego State. All starts, 31 tackles.
Good to see him healthy. He battled injuries a lot last year, and good to see him back out there healthy. And yeah, it was great to hear coaches say, hey, listen, out of all the linebackers we have on this football team, Owen Chambliss is the one that's the most kind of NFL ready and NFL inquisitive, right? So really good to see him back out there healthy this year.
It's going to be a delay game. They're trying to just get some time off the clock right here.
After further discussion, it was an incomplete pass. The result is an intentional grounding on number 2 on the offense. That'll be a loss of down. It's 4th down.
All right, so intentional grounding there. Harassing Aztec defense by Owen Chambliss. And talk about NFL-ready guys, maybe. I think the 3 on defense, right? You got Trey White. Chris Johnson is a guy I think that people are starting to kick the tires on. And Owen Chambliss, although he probably has another year to fine-tune his skills, if you will. And they're punting out of the end zone now after the loss of down The intentional grounding for not being out of the pocket. Welsh is back to return another punt. He's got it right at the 50-yard line. He spins. He's looking for blockers. And he's going to get run down by a big guy. I think that's the tight end. I think it's run down by a guy with a number 60 in Trey Wallman. Uh-oh, they might giggle a little bit in the film room about that.
That's never good. He's probably shaking his head, walking to the sidelines. But he's looking for that opening, and there's number 60. Rode him down like a Texas steer.
I bet you at Servite High School, Mason Graham did that a few times to him on special teams. He played on a Servite team, did Mikey Welsh, that had not one but 2 first-round draft picks. And Mason Graham from Michigan, and also Teteroa McMillan. Sincere Rainey is the tailback again. He'll take it. He'll move left. And we'll go downhill to about the 43.5-yard line. Inside of 6 minutes to go here on opening night. Okay, I'm going to ask you, what has impressed you most about San Diego State tonight?
I think their ability to hang on to the football. You know, again, we talk about in order to win a football game, you got to win the turnover battle. Yep. And we haven't seen a turnover out of either one of these teams tonight. But offensively, if you're going to win a football game, you got to protect the ball, and they put the ball in a lot of people's hands tonight.
Yeah.
You know, you got 7 or 8 guys that are caught a pass, and 6 or 7 guys that have rushed the ball, and everybody's protected and taking care of it.
Emmanuel taking a shot downfield in coverage for Jerry McClure, and he's going to get a penalty. Shamar Askin, NAIA transfer in coverage. McClure's a kid that was a red shirt last season at UCLA. Got a lot of depth in the wide receiver room as well. Yeah, you can't do that.
Number 7 on the defense.
Back to your thought on turnovers.
It'll be 15 yards for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And well, they only had 9 last year. We established that, 3rd fewest in the NCAA. Very veteran group. We talked about the 11 returning starters on defense, 13th overall. And would it surprise you if I told you that was tied for the most in the nation? Tied for the 9th most in the nation.
Wow.
A lot of build around. Here's Sincere Rainey cutting back, and Rainey to the 20, and another red zone trip for San Diego State inside of 5 minutes to go.
You know, when I watch Rainey run, you just kind of hold your breath. He feels like he has that much explosion in him, and it maybe takes, you know, an inch for him to break it. He's very explosive. He's slippery. That one could have very easily ended up in the end zone. He's an exciting player, and hopefully somebody that continues to develop in that running back room.
He led Gardena Serra to a state championship game, again with Malik Murphy, who went to Texas as the quarterback. In the pistol here, they hand it off to Rainey again, and he is to the 19-yard line. We'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Just over 4 minutes to go on opening night. Aztecs trying to break a 6-game losing streak. And preparing 220 days. They got together for the start of the 2025 season at the end of January officially. And it was off and running, hitting each other quite a bit. And Sean Lewis gets to turn them loose here at the end of August 2025. Here's a keeper, Emmanuel, and running for the first down. He's going to get it. He's to the 16-yard line. And now the Aztecs can run out the clock here, you would presume. And 1 more first down will do it. The Aztecs will, in 90 seconds, have the 2-minute timeout here. But they're in no rush, letting a lot of time get off the clock. They'll probably snap this at the 3:02 mark on a first down and 10. Maybe run 2 plays to get him to the 2-minute timeout. And Rainey, and you know Rainey wants some as he gets down to the 10-yard line, huh?
It's just he's a hold your breath type of a player. Really, really good to see him out there, you know, as a freshman competing in a very talented running back room, but that talent is impossible to hide.
2nd down and 5. First down make is the 6-yard line for the Aztecs. Emmanuel is going to throw it as they fake the dive, and the catch is going to be made, but a loss of a yard there. That is MKD, the first time we've called the name of Miles Kit Denton. First year at San Diego State after catching 33 passes between Central Arkansas and Northwestern State. They're real high on this guy. My impression was he's probably target number 3 each and every game of Jaden Denigal.
Yeah, they tried to do a little slip screen there. They sent the left tackle out there to block the corner. We used to run that play a lot when I was at San Diego State with Chester Pitts.
Manuel's going to run it with the empty backfield. He gets upended around the 5-yard line, has enough for another first down. That's going to take us here to the 2-minute timeout. And the Aztecs will have it on a first down and goal now. One more second. I don't think they have to run it. No, the clock will run off to 2 minutes. And when we come back, Aztecs will have it on a first and goal. And if they so choose, can take a knee and not inflict any further damage on Stony Brook. 35-0 with 2 minutes to go. Aztecs in command. Let's take a look at tonight's Toyota plays of the game. Lucky Sutton, career high 100 yards. His first career 100-yard game. Found the end zone a couple of times. Aztecs running it here and in for the touchdown. How about that? They did in fact want more, and it is Parker Threet that gets in. Of all the guys, and you're asking where's he from? He's a wide receiver by trade, a redshirt freshman from Bellarmine Prep in San Jose, and he pays the price for getting his first career touchdown here. And they're going to help him up. The Aztecs have a 41-0 lead. I thought maybe they'd call off the dogs, but a little jet sweep here. And then what's the head? Oh, yeah. Takes the turf, helmet to the turf, but hey, he's happy. It'll be Good Friday on the Mesa for him, huh?
Absolutely.
I think he was on the bingo card, too. They're going to shift. New place kicker. This is Nick Clegg, freshman redshirt, Gilbert, Arizona. So everybody getting in on the fun here. I love that. Sean Lewis gets as many people in as he can. They've worked hard in the summer in the heat here in San Diego. The trainers will attend to 3. Well, you got some weapons here. 42-0. San Diego State with the lead. Sean Lewis was excited, right? Again, something special brewing. Excited to cut his guys loose, and he has. They've scored 42 points. Might not like the penalties. A few things to clean up, but not a lot. And they weathered a kind of a sluggish third quarter. I think that's the best way to describe that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's what I was just thinking about. They came out fast and scored 2 touchdowns on those first 2 drives. Ended up getting a pair of field goals as well, and then things kind of went quiet. And I may or may not have said they were taking their foot off the gas because they were trying to maybe hide some stuff. But I think Coach Lewis, when he got his team together at the 50-yard line, you could just tell he's saying, hey, listen, we have a standard, and it's not the scoreboard. The standard is how we play against one another. And that fired the guys up and woke them back up, and they started putting points on the board again.
42-point effort, 443 yards in total offense, 226 on the ground. How about this for balance? 227 through the air, 226 on the ground. You didn't turn it over, and the penalties will be something that they're going to want to address. And you can't afford a sluggish third quarter when you get into Mountain West Conference play, I'll tell you that much, or even on the road, right, in a week and a half at Washington State.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's Zealous, 5 of 15. They've held him to 21 yards and a quarterback rating of 45.1. Transfer from Hampton. And here is Ragsdale, senior from Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, injured after 2 games last year at North Texas, and gets a fresh start here at Stony Brook. It's going to be a long flight home. They'll charter home and get back in about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Final 90 seconds of this one. So a good opening win. The 6-game losing streak will be snapped, and everyone will go to bed feeling much better about themselves here in about 5 minutes. There's a handoff. And that is Ragsdale. Isaiah Buxton. Mater Dei High School here in San Diego. I saw Josiah Cox from Lincoln. A lot of guys from San Diego. Of course, there's 23 on this roster moving forward.
Yeah, and Coach Lewis spoke about that. He spoke about the local kids, the local talent, the local relationships, leaning on some of these local coaches, making sure that they're building a wall around San Diego's talent.
Gage Weddle was supposed to be here tonight. His dad, Eric Weddle, all the Charger fans know him, and he's a great two-way athlete, the highest ranked athlete in the 2028 class, just a sophomore at Rancho Bernardo High School. So hopefully he liked what he saw. Maybe the Aztecs will get his services in the next couple of years.
A lot of guys coaching high school football here that played in the National Football League. Nick Barnett and Shane Walton and Eric Weddle obviously coaching.
RB and Del Norte are rivals right there across Camino del Norte.
Absolutely. Got some of the great coaches down south. Coach Carter over at Lincoln and Coach Verlaine Batofe, who's done a great job at Mount McGill.
And that's it. We went into the danger zone where the Aztecs came away with a couple of more scores. A balanced attack, 453 yards, 42 points, and the 6-game losing streak is over. San Diego State has beaten Stony Brook 42-0. Next up, they'll be at Washington State on the 6th on the road. Trying to navigate the Palouse. Hey, be sure to get your tickets today for Aztec Soccer. The women host UC San Diego Saturday, August 30th, 7 p.m. The men play San Diego on Labor Day at 5 p.m. right here at Snapdragon Stadium. The tickets start at $10. Our final score, the Aztecs win it 42-0. Impressive debut for Jaden Denigal. Lucky Sutton, the pride of Cathedral Catholic, with his first career 100-yard game. He scores twice. And the Aztecs celebrating opening night with a win. For J.R. Tolver, our terrific crew, Tim Sullivan, our producer, I'm Steve Quis. Good night from San Diego.